In this world, there's two kinds of people, my friend. Those with loaded guns and those who dig. Broadcasting from a Montana wilderness fortress at the headwaters of the Missouri, this is Matt Christiansen Live.
Do you want to hear more from members and leaders from the Somali community?
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed.
Well, are you retarded?
The R word. This is shameful. For every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that, I think it's crime in general.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
You're a faggot.
Jeez.
Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics. Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
Good.
You are fake news.
That's unacceptable.
I'm being respectful, bitch.
Very fake news.
I don't even like racism.
Congratulations, butthead.
Round them all up. These people are sick pedophile groomers.
Definitely worth checking into.
We're the United States of America.
All right, America, go to the YouTube right now. Skank free, whoever he is.
Duct tape all over the place. It's a disgrace.
All right, go. In 5, 4, 3. I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Matt Christiansen Live, a proud duct tape production for Sunday, December 14th, 2025. Thank you for tuning in. Sitting shotgun tonight is our friend, highly regarded author, Matt Palumbo. Welcome back.
Saddle up, partner.
Thanks for having me.
Find his book on Alex Soros, The Heir, linked in the description. The finest stocking stuffer there is, my sources say. Follow him on X as well, at Matt Palumbo 12. Hey, new dad, how is the sleep going?
There is no sleep. I'm just going to pull an all-nighter after this, I think.
Welcome to the club.
I know I'm going to regret drinking this, but there's no consistency in my sleep at all.
A late night Celsius, getting rowdy. I don't get was that a grape Celsius? Is that what that was?
It's very good, yeah.
See, we get the Costco packs, and grape doesn't come in that. You get the guava kind. There's orange, and then they got cherry cola. But grape is a luxury. We don't have that, at least at Costco out here in Montana. I
feel like my sleep is so lagged. I need to stay up from like now for another full 24 hours and then sleep to finally be like reset from where I was a month ago. I know that sounds like it makes no sense, but in my head it makes a lot right now.
It sounds like sleepy dad talk. That's what it sounds like, and I can relate. In about 30 minutes, Liberty Doll will join to discuss some of her latest material and some news items as well. But first, in the news tonight, of course, within just the last 24 hours or so, we've seen mass shootings at, I thought it was Bondi Beach, like Pam Bondi. It's not. It's Bondi Beach, like bonsai. No. Sydney, Australia, a Pakistani father and son attacked what was a beach Jewish festival. And then at Brown University in Rhode Island, a gunman attacked a classroom there as well. So we'll get into both of those cases. 2 U.S. soldiers and an American interpreter killed in Syria this week. The Pentagon says it was an ISIS attack. Local sources say it was someone in the Syrian security forces. My sources say those are not necessarily mutually exclusive. It's like nobody knows who belongs to what club in that part of the world, but I'll try to figure out what happened there. Later in the show, you heard it in the intro there, Tim Walz, he says white guys commit crime too, and us white guys have to hold each other accountable when asked about Somali welfare fraud and other scams. I don't know if you heard it there, but it sounds like Tim Walz himself needs a lesson in per capita, Matt. Maybe you could deliver that to him.
The thing about white people holding each other accountable is we actually do. Like we mock our underclass. I think even to our own detriment. We as juries have no bias against our own kind. With the opposite, I mean, with black people, it's almost accepted that going to jail is part of the authentic black experience, and criminality is something to be expected. side, and all bias on juries indicates that they are more likely to let off their own kind. So we hold our own kind accountable. And yes, he's like Piers Morgan in that Nick Fuentes interview. Well, with Walz, he might not be pretending to be retarded. He might just be retarded and not understand the difference. But
The R word. This is shameful.
How dare you?
Yeah.
We'll get into that. Some other items later in the show as well. Maryland father, Kilmar Abrego-Garcia. He's now out of prison. I thought he was going to Africa. No, he's back to being a Maryland dad, a sleepy dad, just like the two of us. Just a normal guy, wrongfully detained for all this time. Plus, I got some hoax hate to close several cases, including students in San Jose, at a San Jose high school. They formed a human swastika. They laid down in the shape of a swastika. This is now a matter for police investigation. We'll get into that. Catch up with your super chats as well. Of course, thanks to those who support the show. Before we get into it, got to say hello to our friendly listener-owned business of the week. That's our friends at Hero Soap Company. It's not too late to stuff those stockings, not only with Matt Palumbo's highly regarded book, The Air, linked in the description. Thanks. I need some shekels in my stocking as well. But it's not too late to stuff those stockings with Hero Soap Company, Hero Soap as well, from Hero Soap Company. What am I even talking about? Get some soap in those stockings. Soap is still shipping. Get a great smelling, all natural, handmade in the USA product. Support military and first responder charities with each purchase, and make sure your friends and family are all nice and clean this Christmas. Of course, you can get my signature soaps, Timberline and Old West, and Hero has some classics returning for Christmas. Lemongrass is calming and lemony sweet. Spearmint is fresh and cool, just like the chewing gum, and it's not just soap either. Hero also offers shampoo and conditioner as well. So if you have someone smelly on your Christmas shopping list, or just someone who appreciates the finer things in life, pick up some Hero soap to stuff those stockings this year. 10% off all of it using promo code MCListener. 10% off everything from our friends at Hero Soap Company using promo code MCListener. Find all the information at mattchristiansenmedia.com/deals. Deals by listeners for listeners. Quick announcement up top as well. This coming Wednesday show, the 17th, that will be the last Wednesday stream for the month, because, of course, the following Wednesdays are Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, so we hope that you're spending that time with your families and your friends, and the Wednesday stream will resume January 7th. The Sunday stream, as of now, I plan to continue as scheduled, 21st, 28th, and then we're into 2026. As always, if there's any confusion, we might do some shorter Sunday shows. I don't know exactly what the plan is, but the Sunday show will be live as usual, is my plan as of now. But if there's any confusion, any change of plans, if you're trying to find the show and you can't find it, head on over to my website, mattchristiansenmedia.com. Any announcements, any changes, as always, I will post that information there on the homepage. But we got to get into this Sydney shooting, Matt, because this is some crazy news breaking. It hasn't even been 24 hours, actually. We're about 18 hours removed from this event at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. It was about 6:45 p.m. local time Sunday. Two gunmen attacked a Hanukkah celebration on this famous beach, very touristy beach. The information might be outdated already. Latest I saw was 15 people dead and some 40 injured, dozens hospitalized with injuries. Might be more by now. But just a little while ago, the two shooters were identified as a Pakistani father and son. More on them in a moment. The father is dead. He was shot by police. I think they were both shot by police, actually. I just learned before live the video of them being shot by police is now out. I don't have it prepped for the show, and I don't even know if it's showable on the show, but that video is out there. But the son is still alive. So it's 24-year-old and then a 50-year-old. 50-year-old dad is dead. 24-year-old was shot by police. He's hospitalized, but he's still alive. The event is called Hanukkah by the Sea. This is an annual festival on Bondi Beach. On Sunday, the Australian Prime Minister, Anthony is it Albanese? You know the Australian Prime Minister? Okay.
I believe so.
He said the attack was a targeted attack against Jewish Australians. He called it a, quote, terrorist incident. One of the dead is Rabbi Eli Schlanger, who's a key organizer of the event. This actually marks the first mass shooting in Australia since 2022, when 6 people, including 2 police officers, were shot in an ambush. I'm sure you've seen the video of the guy tackling one of the shooters.
Yeah, this was Piers Morgan pointed out that the tackler was Muslim and was trying to spin it like, sure, Muslims are shooting us up, but also they do tackle the attackers like as if that's like a rebate. And I thought, well, by the same logic, then if a guy with a gun took down the shooters, well, then you would like Piers Morgan would never credit guns in that situation. So he's not being consistent with his logic.
Yeah.
But also in the video, which I'm sure you're going to show, he has the opportunity to shoot the attacker and doesn't, and then the attacker retreats and is able to kill more people. So it was badass for like 15 seconds, and then it turned out to
He
not
did
be
get
at all.
shot, to be fair.
Okay, so it was badass for 15 seconds, not at all. I guess when he got shot, and then again not. I don't know. It's just it was very unfortunate he did not take that shot when he could.
Is this a Muslim problem or a female cop problem? We're going to evaluate.
Why not
that,
both?
but it's a mix of a lot of problems here. Yeah. But yeah, this guy, in all seriousness, hey, he stepped up, he intervened. He's a hero civilian in my book. This is the video of a bystander running up and just tackling one of the shooters. You can see someone filming it from a floor up or something. But yeah, he tackles him, grabs the gun, disarms him. And to your point, he's got the opportunity to shoot there if he knows how to operate the gun.
Do it, man.
But he's taking fire, as we'll see momentarily. Or at least, I don't know if he's taking fire in that moment, but his son, the other shooter, is up on that footbridge, and he's shooting. Those are the shots that we hear right now. So he actually sets the rifle down, to your point. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again, I hope I'm brave enough to do something like that if I was ever in a situation like this. The guy throws a shoe at him, George W. Bush style, right there. But I don't understand setting the rifle down. And then there's the son taking shots from that footbridge. And the son actually shot this civilian. He was hit in the hand and the shoulder or arm. He's hospitalized, but he is expected to survive.
Yeah,
His name is.
I guess I shouldn't talk shit, given that I don't know if I would have tackled the guy myself. I just know
It's
that
a ballsy move, man. Whatever criticism you have, he did the most important thing,
If I did, I would have shot him, though, is all I know.
Okay, well.
I know part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
It's to your point on his presumed Muslim faith, I don't know, or...
totally is.
His name is Ahmed Al-Ahmed, so pretty good bet. He owns a nearby fruit shop. Surprised he didn't come out with an apple and an orange, and that's, Australian self-defense down there. Sorry, I don't mean to mock this situation so much. It's a terrible situation, obviously, but there are a lot of factors that contribute to this that we'll have to get into, because there's no this scene is absurd, and it doesn't have to be. Okay, people should not be hiding and trying to come up with shoes for weapons or tackling people in this way for 20 minutes at a time because they're all disarmed and there's a lot of chick cops on the scene. The only reason I mock is because this is a situation that shouldn't have to exist, but here it is. And so yeah, the civilian, the guy who tackled the shooter, he is hospitalized. He as I said, he underwent surgery. He had bullet wounds to his arm and his hand, but he's expected to survive. And there's also reportedly IEDs. I've seen a few different reports on the IEDs. I've seen it plural or singular. The first report I saw said there was an IED near the footbridge where the son shooter was shooting. Then I saw reports there were IEDs in the vehicle that they came with. So it might be both. You might have multiple IEDs. But as far as the IDs, not the IEDs, but the identifications of these shooters, again, it's a father and son of Pakistani descent. The son is 24-year-old Naveed Akram, a Pakistani national. He was shot, but he's hospitalized. He's still alive. 50-year-old father is still unnamed in the reporting as of an hour or so ago. He's shot dead.
It's Mohammed bin Mohammed bin Mohammed is his name.
Not to be confused with Ahmed Al-Ahmed. Thank you.
I made that up, but it's likely to be true.
You're actually 100% correct. Yeah, I've seen it confirmed. There are some of these social media posts are unconfirmed, but I have seen the guy's name as Naveed Akram reported. That's out there now. I believe investigators have named him, if I'm not mistaken, or at least law enforcement sources. These social media posts are not necessarily verified, but the information appears to track based on the name. They were out there earlier. Somebody posted knowledge that he was, working as a bricklayer with this guy recently, and he had a firearms license in Australia. And we actually know that the father had a firearms license in Australia. That's reported. The father was a licensed gun owner for some 10 years. He had 6 of his registered guns at the scene, apparently. I'm not clear what the guns were, but we know at least the dad for sure was a licensed firearm holder, which you have to be in Australia. And then there's also this post from what looks like Facebook of Naveed Akram at some sort of Islamic school in 2022. So it looks like we got some sort of idea of the guy's social media presence. But the question now is how will Australia respond?
I have a guess.
Well, assuming this is what it looks like, and of course a lot of people have questions about what exactly went on here. Assuming it is what it looks like, and it looks like an Islamic terror attack against a Jewish gathering, regardless, the implications go beyond just that. They go into gun control. They go into free speech issues. So will Australia, A, get serious about immigration and maybe ban some people from, maybe deport people, maybe ban people from coming like they did to that tennis player who didn't get the shot. Remember him?
The Serbian guy. What's his, I know who you're talking about.
Was it Djokovic or was it someone else?
I think that was it. Yeah.
Anyway, will they do that? Will they think hard about immigration policy?
I doubt it.
Or will they ban even more guns and ban even more speech?
Bingo.
It's gonna be ban more guns, Islamophobia sensitivity, and then for some reason there's like 100,000 more Muslims in the country by next year. For no reason whatsoever, truly. But
quick review of the legal landscape. The swastika, at least public display of it, banned in Australia. Nazi salute banned. If you don't have what the law calls an excuse, a reasonable excuse to raise your arm in that way, you can be, it's not just put in prison, it's mandatory jail time in Australia if you do that sort of thing. On guns, anyone who wants to own a gun, which apparently this Pakistani father went through the process, but you got to get a license, you got to complete training, you got to go under these background checks. You have to demonstrate a genuine reason to have a gun, and no self-defense does not count as a genuine reason under the law. You have to have a permit for each gun that you purchase. It has to be registered to you. There's a waiting period, and that's just to get access. And once you get access, most of the stuff is banned anyway. Automatics, certainly banned. Most semi-automatics, banned.
It's pretty much just bolt action that you can own.
So when you finally get that bolt action 22 that they do allow, then you got to have it locked up in your home, has to be stored securely. And by the way, the government reserves the right to inspect and make sure that it is stored sufficiently securely. So I don't know what more gun law crackdown Australia could possibly do at this point, but I wouldn't be surprised to see an attempt at that. In a moment with Liberty Doll, I want to get into some of the self-defense implications. So I'll save that discussion for her. But one thing I do want to discuss with you, Matt, is there is reportedly chick cop issues. Now, this witness, in fairness, his name is Shmulik Skuri, and he said that the cops froze, that for some 20 minutes the cops just were not intervening. And I don't see a quote from him saying it's because they were chick cops.
But he knows.
But who froze? Was it really policemen? I think that the term here is policemen that he said, but based on the photos, was it policemen that we're talking about here? And yeah, exactly as the Wokeness account is describing here. Oh, turn in all your guns. We'll do a mandatory buyback. We will keep you safe. And then these are the people keeping you safe. So
I don't know, man. Has a female cop ever helped anything? Like in every video, they're getting overpowered. They're escalating needlessly.
I think that one cop who accidentally glocked that guy in Minneapolis instead of tasing him did an excellent job. He was a threat.
I support her 100%.
He was a threat to the public. He had to be dealt with.
It was a broken clock kind of situation.
Although she went to prison for that.
That was such bullshit. Yeah. You ever see the Sam Hyde video where he's like, if you ever get pulled over by a female cop, hope you're wearing a Kevlar vest.
Bingo.
Prophetic.
It's so good. I guess not in this situation, but on accident.
Anything else you have to say about the Australia situation? Again, I'll get back into this with Liberty Doll momentarily, but if you had anything else you want to say before we talk about Brown University here.
Well, for a very long time, it was kind of the number one talking point for gun control. And I don't have the exact stats memorized anymore. I've written about this many years ago where the setup would be like, in this 20-year period, we had X number of mass public shootings, and in the 20 years after, we've had none. And if you actually look at the kind of guns that they banned and then analyze those individual, let's just say, those individual mass public shootings in the 20-year period beforehand, the majority of them were actually committed with firearms that were not banned by their buyback, meaning there was nothing in theory stopping them from happening again. So you can't say it's young. Like, you have to realize too, like their population, I think, is less than a tenth of ours, meaning one mass shooting there is the equivalent to 10 here. And what is a mass shooting? If it's just shooting 4 or more people, it's mostly a gang violence thing. Like Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes were talking about this, and I think Nick didn't seem to know the numbers. Piers was claiming that all races commit mass shootings at the same rate, but it's 90% are black and Hispanic.
There's no way that's true.
It can't be true.
That seems statistically impossible. There's no way the distribution is even that way.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah. I will be curious to see what weapons the shooters had, because if what you're saying is correct, that a lot of the shootings that do happen are with these legal firearms, well, we know that at least the dad was a licensed owner. We know the weapons on scene were registered to him. I don't know about every weapon, but some of them were. So if this was done 100% within the legal confines of Australian law, as not the shooting is legal, but the possession of the guns, what are we doing here? What are we really stopping? But it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Yeah, it did. I don't know as much about guns as you, but they were reloading. It looked like a bolt. I mean, it looked like they were bolt action. So it was
hard to tell. Yeah, I mean, the shots were not extremely fast, so I assume maybe they were operating the bolt every time. Even still, though, a skilled shooter with a bolt action rifle, you can shoot those fairly.
He knew
quickly.
what he was doing. Clearly, yeah.
All right, let's talk about the Brown case, because that was the other mass shooting over the weekend. This is at Brown University in Providence, Rhode Island. It happened yesterday afternoon. This was shortly after 4 p.m. local time. This was at a classroom in the engineering building on the campus of Brown University. There was a study group that was meeting, and a guy comes in and he shouts some things, apparently. I'll get into that in a second. But he kills 2, he injures 9, and he leaves. The school went into lockdown. There was a several-hour manhunt. The shooter was seen on some surveillance video that was put out to the public.
The individual they believe is the suspect. Take a look right there, dressed all in black, walking away. This is the only video so far that authorities have released to the public that they say is the suspect there. He was caught on camera walking on Hope Street and taking a right turn on Waterman Street. Meanwhile, students on campus watching in horror as events played out.
So the shooter looked like maybe the shooter's now identified. It looked like maybe a case of Coulter's Law, as in the longer it takes to identify a person, the less likely he is to be white. As far as I'm aware, we still don't have a description of the guy, even though he now is identified as 24-year-old Benjamin Erickson, who apparently drove all the way from Wisconsin to Rhode Island, went and committed this shooting. Police got him afterward at a hotel near Coventry, Rhode Island. And he had a revolver on him. He had a Glock with a laser sight, a very scary laser sight. But there were some witnesses describing him committing the shooting with a rifle. So I'm unclear exactly what gun he used to commit the shooting. But when they found him, he had those handguns in his possession. But yeah, it's odd that we have the shooter identified, but we don't actually have images of the shooter or a description of the shooter. We just have a name. But a law enforcement source tells CNN the guy is from Wisconsin, he's believed to have traveled all the way from Wisconsin just to commit this shooting. And that to me implies and the fact that it happened in a classroom and he seemingly didn't march around the school shooting random people implies targeted or perhaps personal. Then again, he was very far away from this. We also have reports that say he shouted something in Arabic, according to witnesses. Now, what that is...
I wonder what that could possibly be. I wonder if it's 2 words. AA
is usually the initials. But the attack also happened in the classroom of a Jewish professor. Mm-hmm. Is that related? Is that not? Hard to say. But these are just some reports that are emerging within the last few hours. So I don't know if this is like a targeted personal murder case. If so, it seems weird. 9 is a very high injury number if it's not a random shooting. Then again, a lot of times injuries are from the chaos that happens in a public shooting. People, stampeding, people running all over each other, people getting injured in the escape. I'm unclear. Did this guy shoot 10 plus people or did he just shoot 2 and there were injuries were otherwise? I'm not exactly sure.
Well,
I do know
statistically he's not white if he only killed 2 out of.
Oh, is that they're doing the math?
I think it's sailor's law, not Coulter's, but it's a similar kind of thing.
They're too busy doing the math right now to try to figure out, does this count as a white shooting or not? Brown University notably is a gun-free zone. University policy strictly prohibits possession, use, or storage of firearms on all university property and at university-sponsored events, regardless of whether someone is permitted to carry a gun or not. But that's all I got on the Brown shooting. We're kind of waiting on more information. Was it a Brown shooting? That's what we're trying to find out here. We don't yet know.
Yeah, it was odd, and I'm not even postulating a conspiracy theory here, how long it took to get information on this. The president of Brown was getting grilled by a reporter on the question of how do you not know this? But if she didn't know this, the cops didn't know either. And it's bizarre that there would be so many cameras that it would take this long.
And they were doing the person of interest thing too, where we saw this with the Charlie Kirk assassination case. Where Kash Patel had put out that they had the shooter in custody. No, wait, it was a person of interest. No, wait, it was just an old guy who was shouting about nonsense who's known to be a local political kook. We still don't know exactly what he was doing that day. But I've seen this guy described as the suspect and a person of interest, and I'm not clear. I should have listened to the police and investigator press conference. Did you catch if they called him the shooter or the suspected shooter, or did they just call him a person of interest?
I actually haven't followed this as much as I've only seen it from here. I'm learning most of this as we speak.
Join the club, man. Yeah,
I know. It's just yesterday there was no info, so I didn't really look into it that much. I was focused more on the Australia shooting.
Yeah,
sorry to be lazy.
It's that's what makes this show go round, man.
But I read all the other stories, if that helps.
All right. Well, I got 2 minutes before the bottom of the hour, which is not enough time to get into. I wanted to talk the alleged case of ISIS killing 2 of our soldiers and a U.S. civilian interpreter in Syria. We won't have enough time to talk about that, but I got 1 minute until I get to Liberty Doll. Anything else you'd like to discuss? I'm going to put you on the spot. Let's entertain the people.
Well, I think we still have 900 Americans in Syria. I think we should withdraw all of them. Listen, Trump's trying to build a relationship with Syria's new president. I think he should be the one to carry out vengeance for us. Or if we're going to do it, it should be through a targeted drone strike, not any more boots on the ground. But that's pretty much it. I just don't see any reason for us to be there at all.
Well, that's the frustrating nature of our presence in that region of the world. It's kind of like what happened with who was the Soleimani, the Iranian general who we droned.
Yeah.
And it's like, that guy was going after our guys. And if he's going after our guys, we have to defend our guys. But the fact that our guys are there in the first place makes them susceptible to attack. So it's a self-fulfilling cycle of violence, as the Middle East has been for a very long time.
Yeah.
I don't know what to make. We'll get into this in a half hour or so, because I guess we'll do super chat at the top of the hour, and then we'll get into it after that. But I don't know who to believe on who this actually is. Was it ISIS?
I don't know how we even know that. They're all the same group with 3 different things that are slightly different.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll get into that story in a half hour, 45 minutes or so. I'm going to go get Liberty Doll, and I will be right back, okay?
Sounds good, guys.
All right.
Stand back and stand by.
Welcome back. My guest tonight is Liberty Doll. Find her YouTube channel and X accounts linked in the description. She is also up for a Gundy Award for Best Influencer.
Yes, Influencer of the Year.
Ooh, you can vote for her using the link in the description there as well. Have you been nominated for a Gundy previously?
Yes, I won. I actually won, not last year, but the year before. I won a Female Influencer of the Year. Last year, I was nominated in 2 or 3 different categories. And the year before I won, I was nominated as well.
All right, well, best of luck.
Thank you.
Maybe we'll talk about the Gundys a little bit before the top of the hour here. But I want to get your thoughts on what happened in Sydney. Obviously, it's within the last 18 hours or so the news is still fresh. But here the case for the gun control people is almost always, we don't have to put up with this. Look at Australia. They had the sense way back in the late 90s. They took all the guns, mandatory buyback, and they don't do this. They don't have mass shootings in Australia. Why can't we be like Australia? So even beyond, of course, the horror that just happened on the beach there, this is a political argument that has just evaporated, but I'm sure it will be spun somehow. What do you think about all this?
Oh, of course. I mean, already I've been seeing it on X. There's some account called like Morgan Freeman that's been posting like rapid fire all day today. Not the Morgan Freeman. People keep thinking it's the Morgan Freeman, but it's not. And well, yeah, of course, already the gun control arguments are coming up. And another interesting argument that I'm seeing is, the fact that there was this guy that owns a fruit store that tackled one of the gunmen, and everyone's like, oh, he's a hero. That's so great. He saved so many lives. And absolutely he did. I mean, that is commendable to be an unarmed guy tackling a mass shooter and wrestling the gun out of his hands and everything. But the side that are very obviously gun owners are looking at it because he held this guy at gunpoint, let him walk away, and then just put the gun down against a tree.
See, that it's the putting the gun down, and we were just talking about this. I hate to be nitpicky with a guy who displayed a very commendable level of courage. I could defend him on the not shooting him part by saying, well, not everybody knows how to operate a gun.
Right.
We were thinking maybe they had bolt actions. We're not sure, but
it
maybe
did look like a bolt action from what I saw. And I know that the family did put out a statement saying that he has no experience with firearms.
Okay. So you got a spent cartridge in there. It might not be obvious how to work that. So I get all that, but yet I'm just going to set this by the tree. Yeah, a very questionable choice there.
I mean, because the dude walked away, joined the other gunman, picked up another gun, and kept shooting.
Oh, is that how it went? I didn't see that part.
Yes.
So the guy actually returned to being an active shooter after that?
From what I've read.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's news to me. I didn't see that. But we know that it's father and son. We know that at the end of the video clip I've seen, he is slowly walking back. There's another guy who comes in and throws a rock
some guy threw
or something.
A rock at him.
Yeah. But yeah, he was headed back that way toward his son, and we know that the report I saw was something like 6 guns that were all registered to that father on scene. So you might be right. He might have just gone back to the car to get another gun.
Oh, he went to the other shooter, I guess, and grabbed another gun. But I think that part of this conversation that needs to be had is, on the one hand, cool. Maybe he should have held this guy at least at gunpoint, maybe not shot him if that's, if he didn't know how to work it and that's not what he wanted to do. But even if he had held this guy at gunpoint, Australia's self-defense and gun laws, he probably would have gone to jail. And I think that needs to be part of the conversation.
God, the police would have worked up the courage to arrest him, I am sure, in that situation. Man, and in the argument, I was thinking how the argument is going to survive this event. I haven't followed a lot of the pro-gun control arguments in response to it today, but I'm keeping an eye out for them. And I thought one of the arguments might be, yeah, well, okay, it didn't work this time, but look how rare mass shootings are in Australia. That
is what I've seen already.
Yeah, they might happen, but they're few and far between. And I'm thinking, okay, but if I'm on that beach, I don't care how rare it is. If me and my family, if we're all at the mercy of a deranged shooter and we have no way to defend ourselves except for throwing apples and oranges from the fruit shop or rocks or whatever, statistical reality does matter in terms of, is the policy effective or not? And we can have that discussion, I guess. But when it's your life on the line, are you sitting there going, yeah, I guess I'm dead, but at least my death is rare. At least it's not representative.
Right.
I don't think anybody cares who's in that situation.
No. And I saw some people saying that apparently there was multiple people that had filmed this happening with their phones. And one of the comments was, well, imagine if every person filming this with their phone had been a gun owner.
Yeah. Yeah. You wouldn't have to be sitting up. It looked like the guy filming in the viral clip was maybe in his apartment or something. It looks like he's on maybe second floor above it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Imagine if you were up there and you see this happening, well, that looks like a mass shooting. Guess I'll grab my rifle with my bipod and I will take care of this right now. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, that's why I feel so conflicted about this. We were just joking about this. There's a lot of jokey elements of this, but it's 15, 16 people dead, some 40 injured. It's horrific. So I hate to laugh at it because it's on the other side of the world. It's far away from the United States, but it's tragic. The event itself is tragic, of course, but the kind of clown show elements of it make it even worse. Like, why can't we just put these people down the way they deserve to be put down?
I don't know, man. And I say the counter argument of that is like, oh, well, in the United States, we have so many guns and we have so many mass shootings, and, the good guys with the guns don't stop the mass shootings. They absolutely do. John Lott has done research that has shown that defensive gun uses happen in the United States upwards of over 1 million times a year. That is more than 3 times a day. Okay. Yeah. And there was another study that came out, I think it was this year, that found that in gun-free zones, cops do stop more mass shootings and shooting incidents than law-abiding citizens because they're not allowed to carry there. But if you're outside a gun-free zone, regular citizens stop mass shootings something like 50% more than the police.
Yeah. And that can be verified pretty independently too. One of the most commonly cited sources for whenever we hear the argument or the statistic that there's like 50 million mass shootings a year, whatever the number is, it's always gigantic. Yeah. They get that through news reports assembled by something called the Gun Violence Archive. And if you go to the Gun Violence Archive, to its credit, even though I think it's often cited by biased reporting, to its credit, also maintains record of defensive gun uses. And that, of course, isn't even comprehensive because it itself is just an aggregation of news sources. Sometimes we have defensive gun uses that are valid that don't even make the news. Oh, right. But you can go look through that archive, and the volume of defensive gun use relative to their mass shooting aggregation, it's gigantic. It's like 10-1 or something like that. I can't remember, but there's a whole volume of defensive gun use that the reporters who grabbed this for the shock number have no interest in looking at or reporting.
Right. But because I mean, there's so many that never get reported. A great example was a story that I covered out of Prescott, Arizona. And that ended up in the news only because this like drunken fire chief assaulted this random guy and wouldn't let him leave the convenience store, was like holding his car door open. So he brandished, but like kept it pointing down. And finally the guy's family hauled him off. So the guy with the gun just was like, all right, nothing happened, and drove off. And then this fire chief was like, oh, I'm calling the cops because this guy pulled a gun on me. And that was the only reason it ended up in the news.
Oh, okay.
You know, so there are things like that happen all the time too.
Well, I want to talk with you about some of your content. I was looking through some of your recent videos, but specifically, I was unaware that the guy who was put in prison under the Biden administration for what is called the auto key card.
Yes.
He's not out of prison in the sense that his sentence is over. He went to a halfway house, right? But he's now.
Yes. Matt Hoover is now in a halfway house in Wisconsin.
So for people who don't know what the auto key card is, it's a little bit technical for non-gun people, but he went to prison. When you say like he went to prison for a drawing,
like he literally did. He
kind of did. Can you explain this in just layman terms? Sometimes I think people who aren't into guns, it's like, you know, all the gun tech stuff. They're like, I don't understand this.
Right.
But this is so far beyond even just like what kind of gun you're allowed to have. We're talking about etchings on a sheet of metal like the size of a credit card.
Yes. So Matt Hoover had a YouTube channel, CRS Firearms. And one day this guy, Christopher Irvin, says like, hey, I've got this cool little novelty product. It was like, some of them are bottle openers. They're just little things exactly like that were like a sheet of metal the size of a credit card. And he was like, hey, can I sponsor your channel? And Matt Hoover was an FFL. So that meant that he was a licensed gun dealer. And he went to his local ATF office and said, hey, I have this thing that has this drawing on it, and they call it an auto key card because allegedly it is a drawing of a lightning link, which is something that you can drop into a gun and make it full auto. But
you would have to cut, like if you were going to do that, you would have to actually cut this metal into the shape and install it into your typical AR-15.
Right. Yeah. And allegedly the ATF office told him, hey, yeah, that's fine, but he didn't get it in writing, which was a huge mistake. The ATF changed their mind and raided Irvin and shut down his website, and then also went after Matt Hoover, saying that he was trafficking machine guns. So they get to court, and the ATF takes this auto key card and they cut out the shape in their little lab, and they can't get it to work because it's actually too small. It's not.
It didn't even fit.
Drawn. No.
I didn't even know that part of the story.
Yeah, it wasn't drawn to actual scale. And even when they cut around the edges to make it bigger, the metal was too thick to actually use. So they couldn't actually get it to work, but they still called it a machine gun and gave the jury instructions saying, well, this is a machine gun, and so anyone who illegally sells this is guilty of trafficking machine guns. But the thing is Matt wasn't even selling them either. He was just advertising it on his YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And they convicted him of trafficking machine guns and sent him to prison.
So it wasn't even like a conspiracy charge. It was straight up as though he had sold someone a full auto or something.
Yeah, I believe there was also a conspiracy charge, but what he got sent to jail for was the quote unquote machine gun, selling machine guns.
Okay.
And on top of all of this, he also had cancer, and the trial kept getting delayed because the lead prosecutor also had cancer and was delaying hearings and things like that so she could go get her cancer treatment, but he was not allowed to go get his back at his home doctor.
So he's now out. He's in a halfway house. Good for him. It was just as simple as like good behavior. It was what, a 5-year sentence? He did like 3?
Yeah, he did almost 3. I don't really know why they released him early. I don't know if it was good behavior. I don't know if it was to get cancer treatment or what. I did exchange one letter with him at one point, and he had said that he thought his cancer was better. So I don't know. There was at one point a motion that was filed to get him released early so that he could get cancer treatment, and that I believe was denied. So I don't know. It hasn't been reported exactly how he got out, but he has to do the remainder of his sentence at a halfway house.
Have you heard any talk of a Trump pardon for him? This strikes me as a classic example of Biden's ATF gone insane, which there are many such cases. But this one seems like a guy who would already be pardoned. Do you have a sense of why that hasn't happened?
Well, truthfully, I don't think that Trump and especially Pam Bondi are really as Second Amendment friendly as they originally advertised.
Okay. Simple as that. But do you know, is it possible that they could just claim ignorance? They just don't know about this. Obviously, it's a federal case. It's under Pam Bondi in general, but is it possible they were just, of the many things that the Justice Department had to work on, they were just maybe unaware of this case, something like that?
It's entirely possible. I know that a lot of people have been talking about wanting to get a pardon, but I don't know of any kind of big campaign to try to make that happen. But I mean, it's a pretty famous case. Like, everyone in the gun world knows about it, but Trump and Pam Bondi are not part of the gun world.
Well, it must be right
and
under.
They are, supporting the NFA and saying that the NFA is still constitutional. So.
Yeah, that's a big disappointment too. But
yes.
I'm sure his pardon paperwork is right under all those Epstein files in the truckload.
Exactly. That's totally where
Pam
it is.
Bondi's desk. Speaking of letters to prisoners, did you get your Luigi letter yet? Last time we talked, I know you had written to him.
No, he never responded to me, so I didn't have anything to sit and psychoanalyze. For people that don't know, watching, until I closed my practice to be a mom, I was a licensed psychotherapist, and I specialized in the criminologic population. So I was really hoping to get a letter that I could like psychoanalyze and be like the person that figured it out.
Well, he was back in court this week, and the hearings or the hearing this week has to do with what evidence is going to be admitted at the trial, and his backpack is under dispute because, Luigi and his lawyers say it was an illegal search because they didn't have a warrant for it or any sort of emergency circumstance. The police say it was an emergency circumstance, but the backpack has a lot of key evidence. He had a gun in there. He had the ammo, some of which had the deny, delay, depose language on it. He had his manifesto or his journal.
Yeah. He had a notebook that, sir, it had a to-do list in it that included plucking his eyebrows.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, that sounds silly. Of course, I think the reason Luigi is appreciated by so many is apparently his good looks, I guess. So that's kind of reached meme level. But the fact is, his eyebrows are kind of key to the case, because the reason, at least as the story is told, that the McDonald's people called police is because someone recognized his eyebrows from all that.
Yeah.
So the context of the eyebrow commentary, it's him apparently talking about like strategy. The FBI is slower overnight. You got to change your hat. You got to change your shoes, and you got to pluck your eyebrow. It's not just like a fashion thing. He apparently was aware that his eyebrows were going to get him, and then they got him.
And then he I don't know, man. You carry out something like that, and then you put on your to-do list like for 5 days later to pluck your eyebrows.
It didn't work. Do we have confirmation if he in fact plucked them, or was it still yet to be done?
I mean, looking at him, I would guess that it was yet to be done.
The judge did not rule on whether this evidence is going to be included. Certainly, it matters, but
so I had been following it pretty closely for the first few months because of my like true crime and ADHD hyper focus, and then it went away. So I hadn't been following the case as much, but I did read around the Reddit the last few days to see. And I guess what the issue is the suppression hearings are actually planning to go for 3 weeks because the prosecution has 28 witnesses that they're calling. And one day the whole hearing was just one witness. But So the issue is that police were saying that it was a legal backpack search because it was such a big emergency situation and they were fearing for their lives, but they didn't put on any sirens on the way to McDonald's. They were like joking about, oh, if this is it, then I'll buy you a free sandwich kind of thing.
Yeah.
They were letting other people walk in and out and like walk by, I guess. There was like a homeless dude that, I don't know, shit his pants or something, that was like wheeled by on a gurney. And then you had like 13 officers that were all surrounding his table. And, you know, they took the backpack away and it was away for like 15 minutes or something before they searched it. And they were like, well, we were searching it because we thought there might be a bomb. And it's like, well, you think there might be a bomb, but you're like not clearing the building. You're waiting 15 minutes to check it, et cetera, et cetera. And when they first looked through it, they did not find the weapon. They didn't even find, I guess he had a jar of peanut butter in his pocket or something. And they didn't find like the peanut butter or like the pocket knife in his pocket or something. And they didn't find this gun that was allegedly in the side pocket of the backpack. Then a cop takes it, brings it into her car, turns her body camera off. 11 minutes later or something, gives it to another cop and the body cameras are still off, and then they like bring it back to the precinct, and then the body cameras go on and they're like, oh, look at this gun in the side pocket. So and they also had him like detained for like 15 minutes before reading him his Miranda rights, and it was only after one cop like reminded the arresting officer to do it or something like that. So I mean, that's why they're trying to get it suppressed.
Yeah.
So there is speculation that the gun could have been planted. Whether it is or isn't doesn't matter at this point. He had a to-do list and he outlined everything in his journal, but the journal was in the backpack.
Well, let's say that all of the backpack evidence gets excluded, which I don't know if that's likely or not.
I don't think so.
But even if it was, I mean, a better chance at reasonable doubt for him in that case. But he's on video, of course, or at least there's video of the murder.
Right.
We have surveillance video of him elsewhere, generally looking pretty similar. I don't know if there's like a clothing match or anything like that. I just wonder, even if all that got excluded, does he have a realistic chance at acquittal or something?
I mean, I think that his only shot would be New York has something called like extreme emotional disturbance or something. And you can claim like temporary emotional disturbance, basically, as a defense. And I think that would probably be his only shot. I don't know if that's what they're going to go with. I mean, he seems pretty smug in the courtroom. And I mean, supposedly he confessed to the police as well when he was being held in his cell in Pennsylvania, awaiting to actually be booked into the jail and extradition and all that. But like none of that was actually written down or documented. That's
what?
just...
Well, yeah, how is that supposed? They didn't record it? They didn't...
No, they were like, oh, well, he said these things, but we didn't write them down. So like that
seems pretty important. I'd probably break out the recorder or whatever your recording device is. Say it again one more time loudly, please. By the way, here are your Miranda rights before you do.
Right. And the other issue is they, I guess, like strip and like cavity searched him at the precinct, even though they said the arrest was just for like the forged license. And the cops are like, oh, yeah, well, we don't typically do that for forgery.
Well, they're Luigi appreciators, too. They just wanted to, they wanted to have that.
Maybe, man, whatever floats your boat. But it turns out that they were, you know, their photos that they took of evidence, there were like NYPD tags in their evidence photos. So now they're like, oh, well, you had what I guess is unconstitutional or illegal, like intra-office communications, and you were actually working for the NYPD and trying to find reasons to. So that is the summary, as far as I understand it, up to this point.
Well, we'll have to see where the case goes. As you said, we got weeks more before we even decide if this evidence is going to be admitted. So the tale of Luigi will continue. But my favorite hot take of the week on Luigi, of course, Kyle Rittenhouse announced his marriage this week. The photos are out there. And I don't know who this account is, but it was kind of one of the viral posts of the week. In total demonstration how we live in two different worlds, two different countries. How is Kyle Rittenhouse out getting married as, the murderer that he is, apparently, while Luigi is really facing the death penalty? It is, I know that at some level this is kind of an extreme post, or I don't know how representative this is, but the number of people who seriously think free Luigi and jail Kyle Rittenhouse is not zero. That's a real population in our country.
I am, I think, like one of the only. There was at one point on the Luigi subs like a poll of people that were like libertarian or conservative, and there was like 5 of us that were there just because we're like, true crime is interesting, and this is cool that we get to follow a big case in real time.
I take it you never posted your opinions about anything in there if you survived.
A few times here and there, because there was in the beginning there was a lot of talk about the firearm itself and gun laws in Pennsylvania and 3D printed guns, and I was like, I know this. Let me chime in. But other than that, no, not really. But it's pretty crazy on the subs. There is a lot of people that were like, oh my God, he's being charged. And like, Daniel Penny went free. Kyle Rittenhouse went free. Like that is a sentiment that I have seen many times, but it's like, well, Penny was defending other people. Kyle Rittenhouse was clear self-defense.
Yeah.
There is no comparison between the cases. I mean, and they like some of them are arguing, well, he was defending all of these people by getting rid of the United CEO. And it's like, nah, bro, they're just going to hire another CEO.
Seems that is the direction the country or the company went. Yeah.
Yes.
So, real quick before the top of the hour, you and I have not discussed the Charlie Kirk assassination at all. At least I think the last time you were on the show was July. So we've been through all that in the meantime. Now, also in court this week was accused Charlie Kirk assassin Tyler Robinson.
Yes.
And this was a pretty uneventful court hearing. It was really just about media access and some other rules. We'll get a ruling on media access and whether it'll be cameras in the courtroom or not later. But there was some lip reading about what he said. He was supposedly talking about Erica Kirk and how he thinks about the killing every day and all that sort of stuff. But I wonder, do you buy? I don't know what to think of this, which is the choice of tie.
God!
There was a post that suggested that he's allowed to wear street clothes because the judge said that's okay. He doesn't have to wear the prison jumpsuit. But the tie he chose is light blue and pink, which some interpreted to be pro-transgender, which we know the whole story there, the trans flag. Now, on the one hand, this seems like a major stretch to me. Right. On the other hand, it's kind of a weird tie.
It is. So, I mean, I don't know if he has the whole like high-powered lawyer, like PR people in the Luigi case, but in that case, at least, he is not allowed to pick his own clothes. There's like a person that goes out and buys them and is like, here, this will fit you. I don't know. But
Luigi has
really
a wardrobe person.
Not like, well, so I think she was fired because there was this whole thing where like someone used her to sneak like a Valentine into him in the courtroom. I don't know, man. It's bizarre.
I saw some other posts wondering too. Maybe you have a theory on it. I don't know. But the Luigi fan club is totally real. The Tyler Robinson, of course, there was cheering that act for any number of reasons. We all saw that. But the like female heartthrob love interest for Tyler Robinson that exists for Luigi, that's not a thing. Why is Luigi the Valentine, but Tyler Robinson is not?
I would say entirely because of what he looks like.
That's it? It's just simple as that?
That would be my guess.
One is a Chad with bushy eyebrows and the other is a guy who wears a trans flag tie, I guess. All right, that's a plausible. That's the best theory I've heard, but Before you are out of here, one more mention of the Gundys. If people want to go vote for you, best influencer or influencer of the year, stiff competition. My guy Jonathan Patton is in there.
I have jokingly told people in the past because the year that I won, it was female influencer, and every year after that, I've been nominated for like top 2A creator, like influencer of the year, blah blah blah. And I keep like jokingly telling people like, why are you nominating me in the category that has like Mr. Guns and Gear in it? And like last year I was up against like Iraq veteran 8888 and like Hickok 45 and like all these wicked famous dudes.
That's great though. Isn't that, doesn't that feel cool? It's like, it's to feel like you're a peer of the people you maybe enjoy or.
Yeah, and I think I was in top 5 last year for one of the categories, which is wicked cool. But I'm like, yo, like, dude, why do you keep nominating me for these characters, like these categories?
The Massachusetts is still in you with that wicked commentary. I
Oh
thought
my
you'd
god,
been out of
my
there forever.
accent is somehow worse after moving to the South. I drop R's like crazy now. I don't know how or why or what has happened.
Well, if you want to vote for Liberty Doll in the Gundys, the link is in the description. But that is my guest, Liberty Doll. You can also find her YouTube channel and X accounts linked in the description. And is there anything else you'd like to promote before we're finished up here?
No, just YouTube, the Gundys, X, and people ask me this all the time. They're like, oh, why don't you post on Rumble? I have been on Rumble for like 5 years, maybe 6. I am on Rumble, and my Rumble channel is linked under every video. You just got to look for it. I post every video goes there.
Is it under Liberty Doll or is it under #1 Luigi fan? Oh, okay. Luigi fangirl, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, okay. Well, thank you for stopping by. As always, good luck in the Gundys. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All the best to you and your family.
You too.
All right. There she goes. That is Liberty Doll. Find her links in the description. I'm going to go get Matt Palumbo. We'll come right back and we'll get caught up with your Super Chats.
Stand back and stand by.
Oh, good. You didn't fall asleep.
I feel like I'm on speed right now. So
is that your second one?
No, it's this one. I'm saying it's a huge mistake.
You haven't even finished your.
No. I was going through the news while you were doing the interview, and they ID'd one of the victims at Brown, and she was the VP of the College Republican Club. And the shooter is part of the DC Greens, the DC Statehood Party, which is like the DC Statehood Green Party. So some people are saying it's likely to be politically targeted. I mean, I don't know if you can infer that, but it definitely is within the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Well, man, there's a lot of stuff going on with that shooting then. Hard to tell exactly why, but it seems odd that one of the victims would be, you said she was what? She was in charge
of the College Republicans.
Okay, VP. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for that info. That is information I had not seen yet. So we'll try to keep up with the story here. Appreciate that. All right, let's get into some super chats here. Dutch Schaefer. Matt, what's the name of the song in the intro tonight? I think I used the Fast Car remix tonight, right? That is a remix of Tracy Chapman's Fast Car. Cool. Yeah. Great song in its own right, but I love the what's his face? Luke Combs? Why can't I remember his name?
The remix.
But yeah, his cover of that is awesome. This is just a remix of it that existed before that, but great song. And I've used that song for a long time. Joshy boy, Matt number 2 is out of line, but he's right regarding black culture. Well, I have more to say about the Nelson community later in the show. Are you, you know what I mean by the Nelson community, Matt? Are you caught up on that?
No, is that a new euphemism?
Well, it is another N-word, but there was a story in all the food stamp fiasco. There was a story out of Tennessee. You know, in the Big Beautiful Bill, one of the features was work requirements for SNAP benefits. Mm-hmm. And a man named Nelson Scott in Tennessee, who's a 38-year-old, able-bodied man with no children, he found out that he is going to have to work, or, of course, that he could volunteer or go to school for his SNAP benefits. And he told the reporter...
That's some bull.
That's some bullshit.
I think I've seen this interview.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's what a Nelson is. And the Nelson community has to be brought to heel, and we're working on that. Joshy Boy also says, father's name is Omar Abdul Hassan Hassad Abba Ali Shahid Muhammad.
Bingo.
I think he got
There was a Norm Macdonald joke where he's like, in the list of the worst cab drivers of New York City, then he reads a name like that, he goes, and the second worst.
Yeah. I think that confirms what you said earlier. Something Muhammad al-Muhammad Abdul, something like that.
Bin Solomon, bin Muhammad.
Yes, right. Injured Guardian, expand the sign too. Oh man, here we go. We're going back to the sign tapping. One unmarried man's rant. Are you going to be able to fit it in one super chat? Oh, there's more maybe. Okay. There's nothing wrong with honorably married couples conceiving early in the marriage. I've seen folks be angry that couples are expecting in the first 2 years. Morons. Oh, well, I thought you were gonna have some heat for me on my take, the sign tapping take. No, Matt, I don't know what your perspective is. My only regret about parenthood is I didn't do it earlier in my life. But of course, you got to find the right woman. You have to have. I get it. It's not always the smartest thing to jump into it at 20 or 22 or whatever. But age reality is what it is, and if I could be, well, Phillip Rivers, who just started a game for the Colts today at age 44, he has like 10 kids. He's halfway to a Duggar. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get to 10. But if there's any regret I had, it's that I waited until I was 33 to have kids.
No, I think younger is the better. I mean, if I met my wife 10 years ago, we probably would have had kids closer to then, but I didn't meet her until 2 years ago. So,
yeah, you got to find the right woman. That's a big part of the task. So, but yeah, once you do, you absolutely get your family started. Long Dong John, we don't know if the gun was out of ammo, malfunctioned, if he didn't have the heart or didn't know how to aim or shoot it properly. So this is about Ahmed al-Ahmed. If he did shoot him while the terrorist was unarmed, he'd probably get charged. I think you're probably right about that.
Actually true. Yeah,
I think you're right about that.
As it is, yeah.
Even though good luck finding a jury willing to convict him, even in Australia, that would have been an interesting case to watch. Or worse, the police might mistake him for one of the terrorists and shoot him instead. That's true. I mean, that said, it was ballsy as shit, and he deserves an Order of Australia medal. I assume that's kind of like your high civilian honor, which makes sense. Yeah, and obviously, like I said, there's a lot of clown car elements of what happened here. And for whatever criticism we can have for Mr. Ahmed al-Ahmed,
Bin Mohammed,
Bin Solomon al-Rashid, whatever, he made the move in the moment. He did the fundamental thing in the moment. And all I can say is I would hope that I would have the courage. I'm not sure I would, but he did. And he has to have credit for that.
He can be spared from deportation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's this is how we handle our immigration policy going forward. For every Pakistani gunman we import, you have to also import one Ahmed al-Ahmed to successfully tackle him.
It's a 1-to-1 ratio.
It's like Piers Morgan said. It's an exchange that way.
Yeah.
Long Dong John also said if you care for accurate pronunciation, it's Alban easy.
Tim texted me too to correct this, but I we both were confidently wrong, so I didn't want to correct.
Wait, what's the pronunciation of what?
The Australian Prime Minister or President.
Oh, Albanese. Oh, okay, you're right. I forgot about him. I was thinking the beach. Like, did I pronounce the name of the beach wrong?
No.
But I honestly don't care if you call him El Retardo, because fuck that guy.
The R word. This is shameful.
Esoterica Unbound. Thank you for the clarification on that. A long gun is a weapon even when empty of ammunition. That's true. There was no excuse for putting that down while the attacker was still conscious. Mm-hmm. We have raised a generation of useless people. Well,
we didn't really raise him, but the point stands overall, but I don't know about him.
Yeah. But that's true. Like, it's a blunt instrument. Remember Call of Duty, the old press B to
He should have done that.
Yeah, what's the term? You hit him with
hit him with the
stock or the butt of the gun. What do you call that? I forget. It's not a pistol whip because
like
you got a
bunt,
rifle.
or
It's a rifle whip. Yeah, it's like he should have bunted him.
To
He
death.
should have rifle bunted him. Injured Guardian. By the way, there was no butt joke in Super Chat the other week. A proctologist is a subscriber here. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Okay. So I can't remember the context. We're trying to dissect what the proctologist reference was. Thank you for clarifying. I didn't know that. Over on Rumble, Yakko, 1977. What gets me about the Bondi shooting is the cell phone footage seems close. I look at it and I think I could have lined up the shooter easily with my concealed carry, but not an option in Australia. Pity. Well, yeah, it's hard to tell what the distance was from that guy's video. It clearly wasn't far. I mean, a skilled guy with a handgun could probably hit it. Remember that case of, what was that kid's name in Indiana a few years ago who hit the mass shooter at the mall from like 80 yards?
That was nuts.
His name was like Dickie or something, because there was it spawned that whole viral Dickie test. Well, all the like gun tubers were trying to replicate his shot.
Yeah, that was wild.
Based on how hard it was. So it's certainly possible. Newbie of Death, he's here to say it. If you read this,
you are gay. LMAO.
Thank you. I don't know if you newbie. I don't know if you saw Tyler Robinson's tie. What did you see the tie, Matt?
Yeah, the sort of trans-ish looking.
Do you buy that it was like a trans pride reference?
I mean, we know he is in favor of it regardless, so it would be consistent. I guess. I don't. I'm not 100%. Like it doesn't. It's not a 100% match, but I imagine you'd have to order a custom-made one, which would have maybe been too on the nose.
Well, I want it inspected because I bet the label on the other side says,
you are gay. LMAO.
We need to get to the bottom of this. Donnie.
Someone pointed out that, like, Luigi killed a guy that no one knew who he was, and he gets to be famous, so then this guy kills someone who millions of people hated, and he's ugly, so he doesn't get to become famous. Like,
well, I asked
how
Liberty
frustrating
Doll,
must that be?
Yeah, why isn't he now? Tyler Robinson, the Charlie Kirk shooting was celebrated by many, so it's not as though it was not published.
They're not idolizing him in particular. He's been completely relegated from.
They're not fantasizing about Tyler Robinson's abs. Yeah,
correct. Yeah,
yeah.
For good reason, but
someone is that weird furry kid who has disappeared off the face of the earth. He knows all about those abs. Donnie 5000. Sometimes you got to butt stroke the shit out of a motherfucker. Drill instructor, Staff Sergeant Nichols. Is that a real quote? I don't know what that's from. I'm going to search that.
I think it's from him.
Well, he's Donnie 5000. Is this a quote from you? Yeah, I don't see this as like a movie quote or anything, but if that's from you, hey, job well done. I don't know if that's something they officially teach in basic or boot camp or wherever else, but clearly the application would have been useful in this case. Okay, I am going to. No, I'll just. Tim has a couple thoughts here, and then we'll get back into the news. Producer Tim says banning guns didn't stop mass shootings here in Australia, so we need to ban guns. That's where they're going.
Right.
By the way, the lack of mass shootings in Australia really are. It's not a gun access issue. Culturally, most Aussies are just too laid back to commit one. Also, there have been people who studied the Australian gun control laws and their effect on mass shootings. They determined there were so few mass shootings, pre-gun buyback schemes, that no conclusion could be drawn on its effectiveness as a prevention.
That's what I've read too. And when I wrote about this in the past, if you look at all mass casualty events, meaning with guns or without guns. So, for instance, there was a mass arson attack that occurred in Australia after their gun ban. There was, I believe it was an Islamist attack where he drove a car through a bunch of people. And if you compare the death rates from all mass casualty events, it's basically the same before and after, meaning you could argue that maybe there was a substitution effect. Instead of a gun, they used a different weapon, but the same number of people were dying. And that's one of the things people often miss in the gun control debate, that even if we were to say gun control leads to fewer gun homicides, the question is it fewer homicides overall? because obviously
Yeah.
there's a self-defense case for guns, and if it stops a mass public shooting, but there's also 30 home break-ins where the guy has a knife and the other person can't defend themselves, you have to look at how it nets out.
Yeah. Well, again, those victims are supposed to think of the stats too. Oh, thank God I'm part of the not gun violence data set now.
I'd
Please
rather
don't
get
stab
shot
me,
than stabbed. I gotta be honest. If I'm gonna die.
But
I feel like
it
the
depends.
shot is
It's like shot where and stabbed how.
head versus anywhere.
Like bleeding out from a knife. Stabbed to death
fun.
would
No
be
fun.
horrific. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you have to take like one,
One bullet, I would rather have. Yeah.
Well, if it's clean, if they're both going to result in a death, you'd prefer it to be quick. But anyway, Donnie 5000 updates. Yes, he said it in boot. So this must be like Donnie's personal drill instructor who said, sometimes you got to butt stroke the shit out of a motherfucker. I assume that's happened in warfare. I mean, the history of warfare, obviously, how many people have died in war. But I wonder how many cases, say like, World War I or II or beyond, how many guys have died by gun blunt force, like beaten to death with a gun? Number's probably not high, but it's got to be more than zero.
Yeah, someone run out of ammo or even was torturing someone or something.
Yeah.
Well, people have died in every method you could possibly think.
Bayonets count as like gun melee too, but
it's got to be a horrible way to go.
Horrible way to go, but a horrible thing to I'm not saying it's horrible to commit, but just the challenge of committing it. Like shooting a guy at a distance is at some level impersonal. But you talk about stabbing, like there's no way to stab a guy and not feel close to him. How about that? Yeah, you got to watch it, and you got.
And where do you even stab with that? I don't know. Like, what are you aiming for? Just anything?
I
haven't really given this any thought.
I assume military guys could tell us because there's got to be bayonet training.
Yeah.
Infantry guys, if you know bayonet training,
where to bayonet someone?
Do they train you to stab in the heart or something? And also, like, if the person's wearing armor, that would be a consideration too.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, thank you for the clarification there, Donnie. Appreciate it. We are all set on Super Chats for now, so we will take a break there and come back to them.
I'll have to just circle back with you.
But we left off with the story in Syria where 2 U.S. soldiers, speaking of, they should have hit this guy with the
bayonet.
With the bayonet or with the stock of the gun or whatever, because this is the first... we haven't had U.S. troops killed abroad in quite some time. We haven't had them killed in Syria since the fall of the former president Bashar Assad. Right, is his name? I always forget that guy's name. But anyway, a fatal attack on U.S. military personnel this week or into the weekend. It was announced this weekend. This happened in Palmyra, Syria. This is right in the middle of the country. 2 U.S. soldiers, 1 American civilian interpreter killed, 3 more wounded when what the Pentagon is calling an ISIS gunman shot them. The shooter was also killed. Names of those killed are being withheld until their families are notified. As far as I've seen, they have not been named publicly yet. You mentioned earlier we have about 900 U.S. troops in Syria. That's what I've seen as well. The number is declining and supposed to be reduced to just a few hundred by the end of the year here. That would be down from about 2,000 earlier this year. The U.S. had 8 bases in Syria, now down to 5. The Syrian government has taken over a lot of that. These are, as I mentioned, these are the first U.S. deaths since the fall of the former regime in 2024. U.S. forces have been assisting the Syrian government in fighting ISIS. That's the idea here. That's the basis for our presence. But as we talked about earlier, that's also the problem. There's a lot of overlap, and who's who and who's on what team here can get very murky. So we have the Pentagon saying the shooter was an ISIS person. It seems pretty credibly reported based on people who were there, local officials, saying the shooter was a member of Syrian security forces. Exactly who or what level of leadership, I haven't seen reported. But are those different things? Are those the same thing? Like, is it mutual?
The thing. I mean, their president was literally part of al-qaeda. So,
well, yeah, the new guy. His name is Ahmed Hussein or
bin Mohammed bin Shah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. All right. I can never remember.
Ahmed al-Shara.
Okay. Yeah. Wait, is that? Yeah, that is his real
name.
That is his real name. He was formerly Abu Muhammad al-Julani. That one's not a joke either. That's his former name. But you're right. He was a former high-ranking leader in al-Qaeda. Now, technically, al-Qaeda and ISIS are rivals,
but
they're not friends.
So his affiliate was the al-Nusra Front. And they briefly were allied with ISIS, although they had a falling out and ended up going to war against each other. But he technically was briefly part of ISIS as well.
Oh, I didn't even know that part of his history.
Yeah, so al-Nusra, ISIS tried to consolidate with al-Nusra, and then they had a dispute over, Al-Qaeda and ISIS differed in that, Al-Qaeda I don't think ever had the global caliphate ambitions that ISIS had, and they didn't recognize Baghdadi as a legitimate caliph. So they had disputes over that. I believe was what the difference was between the two. But I mean, from our perspective, they're the same group.
Yeah, they certainly share goals about the role of Islam, not just in say local government, but
99.9% the same. But for them, that 0.1% means, I guess, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so technically we are allied with the Syrian president, who is the former al-Qaeda guy, because he is opposed to ISIS and he's trying to consolidate or unify Syria, but the efforts to have a unified military in Syria have been messy themselves because, like you say, they keep killing each other. There's been hundreds killed in sectarian violence just since this guy took power at the start of 2024, early 2024 is when that happened.
And there's a religious group called the Druze there. I believe they're like Muslim, but not Sunni or Shia. And there is an ongoing genocide against them, and it is the security forces carrying it out. And Mohammed bin Shama al-Shah, or whatever the fuck his name is denying that he's ordering it or denying any personal responsibility in it, but it is his people carrying it out. So I watched his 60 Minutes interview, and he's very impressive as a speaker, and he says all of the right things, but that is just a skill of a politician. It doesn't necessarily mean, they actually are going to do the right thing.
Well, where it gets interesting is the Pentagon has called this an ISIS attack. ISIS itself has not claimed responsibility, and ISIS famously loves taking responsibility for their activities. They've not done that. Yeah. And the Syrian government has not said it was ISIS. So there are many possible options here. First of all, was he ISIS and Syrian government? Maybe. Yeah. Was he not ISIS, but the U.S. is saying it was ISIS to provide cover? Was he Syrian government, but maybe the U.S. doesn't want the image of the Syrian government having a hand in killing? So they're lying to cover for the guy who was just at the White House like a month ago. Or was it ISIS, but ISIS isn't taking responsibility because they want people to think it was the Syrian government because they don't like the Syrian government? I don't know what to make of all of this, but Trump says we're going to respond. Trump says that there will be retaliation. He was asked about this at the White House over the weekend.
The new president of Syria is, as they told me, and I'm not surprised, he's devastated by what happened. This was an ISIS attack on us and Syria. And again, we mourn the loss and we pray for them and their parents and their loved ones. Very, very sad.
Mr. President, will the U.S. retaliate against ISIS?
Yeah, we will. We will retaliate. Thank you very much.
I noticed he didn't even attempt to say the Syrian president's name. Does he know?
He knows. It is crazy that we're allied with him. Like someone was saying, women will hate each other for 2 decades over the most minor dispute ever, and then we're making up with al-Qaeda. Dudes rock.
Well, supposedly in pursuit of peace in that region, but good luck. So what is the route that we're going to take long term here? As you mentioned, we have this withdrawal happening. We're supposed to get pretty much everybody out of there by the end of the year, but now Trump is saying there will be retaliation. And frankly, they just killed our guys. Like, don't you at some level have an obligation to go get the guys who killed your people? So what is that? Are we going to scrap the withdrawal plans and start beefing up our presence there? Are we going to have just targeted ops against the people who did this? Whatever argument you want to make, I just don't see how, if we stay there and we get more aggressive, you can bet on continued violence in that region in the country. If we leave and this Syrian al-Qaeda president guy is not able to maintain peace there, we also have continued fighting in the Middle East like you have forever and probably will have forever. So obviously I would prefer that we have as little involvement in this area as possible. I don't even know. At this point, I'm confused what we're trying to achieve. No, we have to protect al-Qaeda guy because otherwise ISIS will come in, and we don't want that.
Of which they used to be part of, but now we're not. Trump is very good at killing people, but not escalating it into war.
That's true.
We destroyed all of Iran's nuclear facilities, somehow with no consequence. We're doing all the drone on Venezuelan boats. So maybe we just, do a drone thing on them and it doesn't escalate. Who knows?
Yeah, we just give them a free how do we convert them to drug smugglers in the Caribbean, and then we play Call of Duty with the Predator missile. I don't know. Take care of it that way, like you say. Anyway, okay. Got a few other odds and ends news items here I want to get into. Starting with all my stories are all mixed up. Let me go find this one. I want to start with the the returning to the Somali fraud in the Minneapolis area, broader Minnesota, and famed retard governor Tim Walz. He remains governor. He's actually running for governor of Minnesota for a third term.
The R word. This is shameful.
During a press conference on Friday, Tim Walz announced some state actions to respond to and stop fraud in the future. Tim Walz was asked if the Somali community should do a better job of holding themselves accountable for all of this fraudulent activity. And Tim Walz refused to say that. He instead diverted to all the crime that us white guys are committing all the time.
Do you want to hear more from members and leaders from the Somali communities?
Look, it's not law-abiding citizens. If that were the case, there's a lot of white men should be holding a lot of white men accountable for the crimes that they have committed. I think for the community to maybe educate their population, because I think what you're seeing here is there's secondary victims in this. There's providers inside the community that are then victimizing the community themselves by signing them up, because when we're going to some of these people, they're like, I had no idea I was in this program. For every crime, which of course the majority being committed by white men, asking us to do more about that, I think it's crime in general. And again, this is 80 people or so that have been convicted in this. Medicaid fraud will stretch across all racial demographics, all ethnic groups. Each community's got this in their own midst, but to blame them and say that they should have been responsible for stopping it, I think that's a pretty hard reach. I think this idea that the Somali community's to blame for this because they didn't do more, I think that's how we got into this. All this work that's being done, Donald Trump brought this to the attention like this is something brand new. This is not brand new, and it's been being worked on, but he made it white hot and very dangerous.
You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
Yeah, we've had Medicaid fraud forever.
That's the thing. Like, oh yeah, actually, no, they've been doing it forever. Why? Who cares? First of all, if white people have to take accountability for whatever he thinks we've done, why doesn't that just apply to every other group?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and Tim Walz clearly, as we were discussing, he needs a lesson in what per capita means. Oh, yeah. You mean to say that in a majority white society, white people commit most of the crime? I can't believe it. Yeah. First of all, the fact that you're having a press conference to address the massive fraud grants the premise that a relatively small population is committing fraud on a scale we've never seen before. This is, even if white people committed a comparable level of Medicaid fraud, which they don't, you would still have to question why such a small volume of people is as accomplished in that particular field.
I don't know if you've seen these articles where they're trying to quantify the economic value that the Somali community in America provides. Yeah. And if you look at it by their contribution to GDP, it's lower than just the fraud in Minnesota. And then if you look at the tax revenue in Minnesota, it's not even enough revenue to cover the cost of their kids going to school, let alone everything else. So that they're a huge net drag.
Well, the Center for Immigration Studies released this information this week. They just compiled information from the Census Bureau's American Community Survey. You talk about net drag. It's not just the fraud. It is the consumption of welfare programs. The Somali community, according to their analysis, and again, it's not data that they collected, it's data the Census Bureau collected, and they've just handled to analyze here. how does the Somali consumption of welfare programs compare to just the general population, or in the way they've cut the data, native-born households versus Somali immigrant households? And as you can see on the left, this is over the last decade or so, 80% of Somali immigrant households consume some form of welfare, whether it is a cash benefit, whether it is Medicaid, whether it is food stamps. That is a gigantic number that is well above the 21% of native-born households in Minnesota. But here is what is so damning about that statistic. The middle bar, the dark gray bar, represents Somali immigrant households in general. The lighter gray bar represents those households or those people who are Somali immigrants but have been here for 10 or more years.
No one has assimilated ever.
It goes, look at the big drop you have over 10 years. 81% of people on welfare programs down to 78%. So there's no assimilation. There's no building of wealth that would get one out of this welfare dependency. If there is, they're still consuming the welfare. There's no good answer to that statistic. So people of all demographics use welfare, Tim Walz. That's true. You can find white people on welfare also. You can find people of all races on welfare. But you look at the difference in not only is Minnesota getting defrauded, and by extension, the federal taxpayer, so all of us, but even you could take these numbers as 100% honest. That is to say, there's zero fraud here. This is all honest, letter of the law, welfare benefits consumption. That's a massive problem. You talk about net drag like that. How do you explain that? 10 years and 4 out of 5 are still consuming at least one type of welfare?
The whole idea that people come to this country and assimilate and become American is like one of the founding lies of our country. It has not been true for at least 60 years. There are entire groups of this country that have no concept of their kids doing better than them, and they are completely content with this. And the whole idea of even blaming the welfare state for their situation, it's even if we took it away, they wouldn't start working hard. They would just go home. So maybe we should, do it for that reason.
Yeah. Well, self-deportation from Minnesota is going to be tough. Although Lake Superior, can't they take their Captain Phillips fishing dinghies, and maybe Lake Superior, they can connect out to the Atlantic? And
it's just funny because Scandinavia let themselves get conquered by these exact types of migrants, and then the Scandinavians settled states like Minnesota and are being conquered by these people. It's just a weird, bizarre historical coincidence.
We're a proud people. We won't be defamed. You can find giant pussies of all demographics, Matt. It's not just Scandinavians. But it is, yeah. I mean, it's like the whole lineage has this Viking lore. Conquerors and tough guys with big beards sailing the rough seas and raping and pillaging. And in reality, it's like, it's the opposite. It's become the opposite. Yeah. I will lay down and you can do whatever you want with my home, my family, my property, anything. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Very bizarre moment on Capitol Hill this week. Benny Thompson, of course, is the congressman who is the former. Was he chair? Yeah, chair of the January 6th committee with what's her face, Cheney.
Cheney. Yeah.
Normally, I don't like to get into these congressional hearings, these pieces of testimony, because it's always just a soundbite battle and it's stupid. But Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was appearing before the House Homeland Security Committee this week, and Benny Thompson. I almost said Benny Johnson. Benny Thompson is on that committee, and he was questioning her. Now, the reason I bring this up, like I said, it's always a dunk contest. It's just adversarial politicians trying to dunk on each other. This was such a weird attempted dunk, though. He brought up the Afghan National Guard shooting from a couple weeks ago. The Afghan national who drove from Bellingham, Washington to the other side of the country, Washington, D.C., to shoot National Guardsmen in the head. One was killed. One is still alive. I heard that he was released from the hospital recently, so that's good news. But in an attempt to dunk, he not only described it as a, quote, an unfortunate accident, but then he doubled down on the phrasing.
Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can.
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question?
Let him ask it.
It was an unfortunate situation, but you blamed it solely on Joe Biden. I want you to know who approved the asylum application for this same person.
Joe Biden.
Mr. Thompson, this individual that came into the country.
No, I want to know who approved.
Congressman Thompson, I want you to understand when this individual came into the country, he came under
I'm not going to let you.
Evacuation of Afghanistan under Operation Allies Welcome, was thoroughly vetted by the Biden administration at that point in time, allowed into our country, and then was never followed up. I want to remind everybody in Congress.
Reclaim my time.
This nigger voted for Joe Biden.
What a clown.
So the point he's trying to make, obviously, is that Biden let him in, but then the Trump administration approved his asylum application in April of this year. And that's, I think the Trump administration should answer why that happened, even though, of course, Joe Biden has the blame for letting this guy in the first place. And that expedited program we had to bring Afghans here has clearly produced some very questionable results. You can say all that, like, yeah, Trump has some accountability there, perhaps. But doubling down on calling it so he called it an unfortunate accident and an unfortunate situation. If that's all it is, though, like, an unfortunate accident, well, then why is accountability for it so important? That is to say, if you grant premise one, unfortunate accident, the premise of his question about who's responsible for it is erased because that's all it is just an unfortunate accident.
And his implication is that Trump should have deported him by the question. But if that actually happened, then it would be, oh, my God, can you believe he deported this guy that we vetted? Yeah. Second of all, it's a reminder that vetting means nothing. Like, we don't have realistically, how are we vetting these people? Like, how do we actually know anything about them?
First we ask their friend from ISIS, then we ask their friend from al-qaeda, then we ask Abu Muhammad al-Bin
Shama.
Yeah, right.
God.
Then we go to Jafar, and then we take a magic carpet ride over to his friend at the other whatever. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
Anyway. Speaking of immigration, though, did you see that Kilmar Abrego-Garcia is out? The Maryland father. God, he's back being a normal dad in Baltimore.
We're the worst fascists of all time. Sucks.
Not only is he still in this country for reasons I don't fully understand anymore, but yeah, Kilmar Abrego-Garcia is now out of prison. This, of course, is the famous Salvadoran illegal immigrant who not only has been in this country illegally for something like a decade, based on bunk asylum claims about rival gang members in El Salvador trying to get his mom's pupusa restaurant. And all he wants to do is be a good boy who helps his mom cook delicious taco, whatever the hell those pupusas are. I don't know what that is. But so not only is he still here, despite that illegal immigration status, of course, he's also facing criminal charges for trafficking other illegal immigrants. Those charges are still working through the process in Tennessee. This is the same guy. Remember, Chris Van Hollen went down there, too, and had margaritas with Kilmar by the pool.
Remember when his wife was being interviewed, and they're like, so we have records that you're a domestic abuse victim in his hands. Do you have anything to say? And she just went silent, and he's like, all right, so I won't ask any more about that. Like, as if that's not the elephant in the room now. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, his wife is very happy to be the subject of beatings once again. Yeah. Maybe he's going to give her the butt end of the gun. I don't know. He's still here. He's out of prison. On Thursday, Judge Paula Zinnis in Maryland ordered him released because of some dispute about his existing order for removal that has been the subject of this fight for some time now. She is overseeing the civil case, this judge that is brought by Abrego-Garcia's wife. And of course, Abrego-Garcia's wife had the whole history of domestic violence accusations, as you're saying. But this is totally independent of the human trafficking case that exists in Tennessee. And now that Kilmar, so this judge issued two rulings, two orders. One, that Kilmar has to be released, and secondarily, that ICE can't go arrest him for the time being. They can't just go get him again.
Or what?
Yeah. So
if we just like hogtied him and left him in a different country, what are the consequences? Like, can anyone explain that to me? What would happen if we just did that?
I thought we were sending him to Africa. Last I heard, in September,
Syria was made just for him.
He was going to complete the circle of life with Simba and Rafiki in the African nation of Eswatini. That's where he was going.
Eswatini.
And it never happened. There was talk of Uganda too.
Yeah.
So that none of that happened, but here, not only is Kilmar out, he is actually speaking publicly now. He had this to say upon his release Thursday or Friday in Spanish, of course.
Yeah.
Y ahora estoy aquí de pie frente a ustedes y la lucha seguirá. Yo seguiré de pie, no le bajaré la cabeza a nadie. Siempre estaré de pie sobre todas las injusticias que ha hecho este gobierno.
Well, do you remember?
I stand here today with
Hold on, we got
hand
the English
up
translation.
high, and I will continue to fight and stand firm against all of the injustices this government has done upon me.
Get out of here! Do you remember when they were gonna deport him to Uganda? And his lawyers objected on the basis that he doesn't speak the local language.
That sounds like
the local
something...
language of Uganda, for anyone who doesn't know, is English.
Is it? Well, that makes sense. What about Eswatinese?
I guess I didn't even know there was a country until like 2 minutes ago. I'm not going to lie, but
I remember I had to look it up when he was first going to be deported there because I never heard of this place.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If he can't be deported there because he doesn't speak English, why is it any different here? I mean, I guess because we let a subculture develop here where you don't have to learn it. But
then, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Totally unclear what's going to happen to him now. Presumably, the Trump administration is going to appeal this decision and maybe rearrest him. I don't know. There's that old order for removal that is the subject of the dispute here, whether that's valid or not. Trump could try for a new order of removal for Kilmar Abrego-Garcia, but that is risky from what I've read because it's possible that an immigration judge would actually give him some kind of protection. If they go that route. And then, of course, you have the Tennessee criminal case that continues as well. That's still in pretrial hearings. So the Maryland father, he's joining the Sleepless Nights Club. Yeah, he's just going home to watch Mr. Rogers and take the kids to the park. And he's pretty much just like Danny Tanner on Full House, except for he's in Baltimore. It's pretty much the same thing. Anyway, also have an update. I don't know if you caught this story this week, but I posted a video about it on Wednesday. This viral story of this DC squatter, but this woman is just like a legendary Airbnb scammer. Did you see this story?
I was going to click your video, but I think it was like 26 minutes, so I thought another day. But I'm going to watch it.
It wasn't 26, but it was almost 20. Okay. And it's that detailed. Now, you're right that I really don't post 20-minute videos, but that's how deep this story was, Matt. Yeah. To give you an idea and to catch anybody up who maybe didn't see it, if you want the full detail, go check out my channel. Go to mattchristiansenmedia.com. Watch all 20 minutes because I guarantee you, I hope you'll be informed and entertained. I don't waste time. It's all necessary information in this story. But the idea is this, Matt. This lady who you see middle right there, her name is Shadeja Romero. The woman on the left is the owner of a home in D.C., and she rents it out on Airbnb. Shadeja Romero contacted the homeowner on the left in January, February earlier this year and said, hey, can I rent your Airbnb for 30 days? I had a fire in my apartment. It's getting fixed. I'll need some kind of short-term housing while that gets fixed, and then I'm going to go back and live at my apartment. Well, sure, that's fine. And she paid up front for the 30 days. Now, after the 30, the fire fix took way too long. It wasn't done yet, so she needed more time. Oh, sure, okay. The whole thing turned into a scam where this lady converted her short-term Airbnb stay into basically a long-term
squatters'
rental.
rights thing, yeah.
Trying to farm squatters' rights or DC doesn't really have squatters' rights from what I understand, but if you are a de facto renter, which is what she was trying to farm here, like a long-term presence that entitled her to tenant protections. She tried to scam that, and this homeowner could not evict her, could not get her out. It was the layers of the scam were amazing, and that's why it was a 20-minute video, because I just had to go through.
I've always wondered if, like, I had a property and someone was squatting, could I break into my own property and then squat while they were squatting? Is that a loophole where where I can just annoy them until they leave? Because I can't get rid of them, but they don't own it either.
Yeah, so you're not talking about breaking in and shooting them in the face, which I would be in favor of
but
as a matter of justice.
I have stuff to live for, so I can't do that. But
if you just out-squat them, is what you're talking about.
Yeah, can you out-squat them?
I would assume so. Yeah,
that sounds like a good business idea. I mean, you probably risk getting killed, but it could work.
Anyway, the reason I bring this up is because there was a court date for the homeowner on Thursday, and she was successful. The judge ruled that this scammer, Shadeja Romero, is not a tenant and has no tenant protections, and so the homeowner had her immediately evicted. Here's a little bit of video of that.
The judge said you can evict her right now. What are your plans? What are you about to do?
Evict her.
Yeah.
She has to go. I need her out of the property so that I can try to regain the property and get back to my life.
This is actually one of the first times the homeowners have been back to the home in a couple of months. And as you mentioned, the judge ordered that the alleged squatter is not a tenant. Therefore, she has no tenant rights. And the homeowners were allowed to get her out of the home and evict her immediately. And that is what you are seeing. We have community members that actually came here to support the homeowners and help clear out the home after watching the reports and hearing what the homeowners were dealing with.
So that is good news. If you want,
but you probably spent tens of thousands of dollars to get that done.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there were legal costs. She also was not paid for what ended up being it's got to be 10, 11 months of occupancy at this house. She received some money, but not the full value of it. Meanwhile, she has a $4,000 a month mortgage on the house. She's paying for the utilities. She's paying for the taxes. She's paying for the insurance, all of that.
Did she cut off utilities, though?
She did.
Okay.
She did cut off utilities, and the squatter went to the court and said, may I please have the utilities back on? And the court said yes. The court turned the power back on. She tried to put the power accounts in her name.
Can you imagine the hubris to go to a court and lay out the case of I'm squatting on someone's property? Can you make them pay for my power?
She did. And the thing is, you'll be shocked to learn, Matt, the story of the fire, which was the entire reason she was there in the first place.
Was it all a myth?
It was false.
No way.
It was all bullshit. And in fact, she had been evicted from 2 apartments prior for non-payment. And they're all detailed the year-long court cases to get her evicted from her prior apartment arrangements. And that's what's so evil about this scam is not just the way that she stole this lady's property. Forget eviction. This lady belongs in prison because she is a thief in that way. She just stole the property for a year. But yeah, she had these prior court cases. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I going to say about her?
She had prior court cases. She should be in jail. She's a disgusting criminal.
The nature of the she did this deliberately. That is to say, she went to Airbnb because I think because she knows that Airbnb generally is not like a background check contractual arrangement in that like anybody can really get an Airbnb if you have the money to pay for it, which she does. She has her nonprofit that she also has her entrepreneurial business and her nonprofit, which paging the eye. Look, I hate to simp for the feds, as I said in the video, but you want to talk about what looks like a money laundering case to avoid taxation. Yeah. Her I donate all my business profits to my nonprofit where I help the kids. Okay.
If you go to like TikTok, any like black entrepreneurship TikToks, it's just fraud. Like 98% of the time.
That's some bull.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Sorry, anyway, this whole thing was the next level of her scam where because she keeps getting evicted, she can't just go to the next apartment and get a new apartment because they're going to do a background check and they're going to see these court records. They're going to say, no way, we're not renting to you. So she goes to Airbnb knowing that it's a little bit more relaxed and she can scam a homeowner in this way. And so you really got to be, I'm not an Airbnb renter guy. I don't own property.
Airbnb sucks.
But if I was in this situation and I saw this, like, you really got to be careful who you let into your house, at least in these jurisdictions where they might be able to scam you out of months and months of that property. So, yeah, terrible story, but I'm glad she got her out. I'm glad she got that woman out of there. And the thing, her prior cases with her prior evictions, the reporter you saw in that story, I think, did a great job of interviewing both parties fairly in such like, you don't need just listening to the scammer Shadeja Romero talk. You can tell how fraudulent she is. So I appreciated the reporter's approach. But
that's why I think we need to appreciate landlords more. I used to have this bit on the Facebook page I used to run where I would like ask people like, you know, what's a good amount to tip your landlord? I usually do like 22%. Should I do more? What do you guys think? And so like 80% of people took it seriously. And then after doing it for 6 months, people finally caught on that it was a bit. But now I think maybe it should be serious after.
Well, this lady deserves a tip. I hope she gets the rental money that she's due. But Shadeja Romero, the scammer, the reporter did a good job of doing her homework. She talks to Shadeja Romero and says, I see court records that you were evicted from your prior apartments for non-payment. So is the fire real or what? And Shadeja Romero just looks at her straight in the eyes. Oh, no. I never went to court for eviction at that property. It's like the court records are right there. We can all go look it up. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Straight face, stone cold lie.
Yep.
And it's a lie with the knowledge that the court records are all public and any of us can go look at them anytime.
Yeah, if you're a smart liar, you'd at least try to act like if it was me, I would say, no, it's someone else with the same name, you know, if I had to come up with a lie.
It's that
spot.
other Shadeja,
the other
Shadeja Al-Muhammad
well,
bin Rashid.
There's so many of them, yeah.
Anyway, good for her. A good update to the story, and we'll see if anything more comes of it. But it's time for Hoax Hate, if you're ready.
Oh, yay.
Now, the nobody saw it happen, but it's totally a product of Trump's America hoax hate crime of the week.
Ah, shit, it's backwards. You think they'll notice?
In Zebulon, I don't know how you say that. Is it Zebulon, North Carolina? This is outside of Raleigh. A man is under arrest and faces numerous charges, including 2 hate crime charges, after a car full of possible, if not probable, illegal immigrants crashed into his truck late at night, and he tried to stop them from leaving the scene.
Zebulon police responded to this crash by the intersection of Mac Todd Road and West Gannon Avenue early Sunday morning. You can see the black car is driving on the grass, loses control, and slams into the white truck. Emma Lawson says she was sitting in the passenger seat in that truck. She and her friends were leaving the bar, Smashmasters.
I woke up and there was blood all over my legs and all over my face.
Police say there were 3 men in that black car, and the driver left the scene before they arrived. Austin Herbert, the driver of the white truck that was hit, is facing several charges, including assault, kidnapping, ethnic intimidation, and the intention to terrorize others with a gun. The owner of Smashmasters, Jessica Thompson, believes these accusations couldn't be further from the truth.
Austin was out of the car, instructing the 2 individuals that were there from the other vehicle to stay on the ground and not to leave. He did ask where they came from and who they were.
Warrants say Herbert struck the men who were in the black car multiple times in the head, verbally threatened and assaulted them with a handgun, quote, because of their race. She and several other witnesses say they disagree.
We never saw a gun. I never saw him hit them with a gun. The only thing I saw him do was come up to them and take them by the shoulder and tell them to get back on the ground because those individuals were trying to leave the scene.
The police department did tell us the driver of the black car who ran away, Juan Campos, was later found and cited for failing to remain at the scene of an accident and failing to reduce to avoid a crash.
Are you stupid? Are you a stupid
I
person?
only support him if it's as described, that he beat them and kept them there at gunpoint.
He did the old drill sergeant approved pistol whip or something like that. But yeah, okay, even if it's true, first of all, I mean, if it's true as described, to your point,
still support him. Yeah,
maybe
it's actually
maybe
better
give him
if it's true. Yeah.
an award. But even if it is true that he was overly violent in his response to getting hit He just got he's like sitting at a stop sign or a stoplight, and he just gets T-boned by a guy who drove off the road and straight into his truck. And by the way, by the looks of it, potentially could have killed him or his passengers. So I understand why he'd be a little angry. But even if he did the pistol whip, even if he was holding them on the ground trying to stop them from running away, there is a very plausible motive for that beyond he hates them for their race. It's probably because they just plowed a car right into his truck, and that's why he's angry. Yeah. As though if he just saw these guys on the street, he would have pulled out a pistol and said, hey, people of Hispanic descent, I hate them. Let's go get them, guys.
The fact that they might be illegal just makes it a little bit more righteous.
Well, and that like might be too. Is like, so the footnote on the story is that Juan Campos ran away from the scene, but they found him later and he was charged for fleeing the scene. What about the other two guys? There were 3 in the car. And if the premise here is, he was way heavy-handed in holding them at the scene, probably because they were trying to run away, like Juan Campos did, and you later charged him for that.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this case develops, but if this guy, his charges are extremely serious. What was the list of charges here? It's not just hate crimes. It's like what are the
existence of hate crimes implies that there is a such thing as a love crime.
Well, yeah, I mean, what other?
I don't know how that would work, but
I don't have the exact list of charges in front of me. It was in the story there. But if this guy, I mean, the charges are serious enough to give him prison time. Certainly, if this guy's in prison for this, if a jury convicts him for this, you talk about insane injustice. You get T-boned by a car full of illegal immigrants who run away from the scene, and because you called them beaners or something.
He could have been drunk too, and because if you are a drunk driver, it's probably better off to flee and sober up than get caught being drunk. In addition to being illegal, like this guy obviously was had a lot going against him.
They were coming from the bar by the story, and there's no indication here that anybody in the white truck that got hit was intoxicated. They didn't get him on any kind of drunk driving charge that I saw. But to your point on whether the Hispanic guys were drunk or something. Something caused them to drive off the road through the grass there and hit a truck. I would not be shocked to learn that there were, in addition to the questionable legal presence, just that there were substances involved here too. All right, in Somerville, South Carolina, a black customer. Did you see this video this week?
Yeah.
All right, so a black customer at I don't know what this dining establishment is, some kind of restaurant it looks like, but this black customer confronts a 22-year-old man with a genetic disorder and mental disability. He looks kind of like a kid. He's not a kid. He's 22. He just he has serious problems. Confronted this guy and his caretaker because the black guy thinks he heard the challenged man say the N-word. So here is the moment where a black man thinks he has the moral high ground to confront this disabled person because of a word.
Make sure you tell your son to watch his mouth. He's using derogatory terms.
He's not my son.
Well, whoever he is.
He is a special needs.
Well,
we cannot make him stop.
He can stop saying that. How did he learn the word?
He learned it from people at school.
So why he using
His family doesn't talk like that.
So why he using it against other people?
He's special needs, sir.
But he
knows.
Understand that? So why he knows to call me? Come on, man, get out of here. You're on camera.
You don't understand.
I don't need to
understand. He has a genetic disorder.
But he's smart enough to know.
His brain is not right.
But he knows where to use the word at. And
leave me alone.
And who's to use it to.
Leave me alone.
Then get out of here.
Anything. I said Mickey Mouse.
I said magic.
Mickey Mouse.
Get out of my face, you fucking nigga!
It must suck because I have this idea that there's a lot of black people fantasize about being called the N-word by a white person and getting to go viral over it. And one time it happens to you, it's a fucking retard. You get no sympathy at all. So wasted.
But you can't wait. R-word. This is shameful.
You can't use the word when actually talking about somebody with a disability. Only
right,
Tim Walz.
You're right. Oh, I know that's a big screw up on my part. Get him a GoFundMe.
Actually, he does. This guy, he needs to get on GoFundMe ASAP, like Shiloh Hendricks and Crystal, the Cinnabon worker from last week. It's not at all clear that he actually said the N-word.
I think he
even
said
if he
Mickey
did.
Mouse, I think.
He said Mickey Mouse
Yeah.
at the end there, and I don't know if Mickey Mouse is what he was saying throughout, and the black guy thought that was the N-word. But
Yeah.
did you catch it at the end? The black guy said, "Well, I see a midget." He gets to he gets to mock this guy who, again, is a very serious disability.
And even I never called him that.
Yeah, he gets to call him a midget because he has the moral high ground, because the disabled dude might have said the N-word at some point. This is peak, absolute peak KTLA behavior, peak Nelson behavior. Whoever this KTLA Nelson American is unknown. The account that originally posted the video is disabled. It's offline. So I don't know who this guy is. I don't think I could imagine him trying to do a GoFundMe too, the black guy.
Yeah.
Because he has been wronged. He's been harmed. He needs recovery money.
No, I'm going to give it to the kid.
I don't care if
Only
someone,
if he actually said it, though.
Yeah, he's like the guy in North Carolina. Only if he pistol whipped the illegal
Then I support
immigrants
him, yeah.
does he deserve relief. Only if this kid actually said it does he deserve relief. But I'm just trying to imagine, put yourself in that mindset. Somebody who clearly has a very serious disability comes up to you and says, "Hey, you, yeah, you, fuck you," like right in your face. He could poke me on my nose and I'd still be like,
okay, yeah, man.
I don't know what this is about, but yep, you're right. Fuck me, dude. Just like, but you're exactly right. It's not, I mean, clearly, and I think everybody knows, hearing the N-word is not, the point is not feeling victimized and hurt. It's clearly a way to weaponize, to gain power against white people. And so whenever we have these kind of viral N-word moments, like these latest cases at Cinnabon and the Shiloh Hendricks case, it's like baiting a white person into saying it so then you can weaponize the situation to gain power over them. That's pretty obvious, but it is absolutely sick when the thirst for power extends this far to an absolutely powerless person, like a guy who is effectively helpless.
And they're not offended by the word because they use it more than anyone else. Like, retarded people don't call each other retard. Black people call each other the N-word. So clearly they don't care.
Yeah, he's going to lecture this.
It's just a tool to use against us.
He's going to lecture this woman about how this caretaker woman about how she needs to get him to watch his mouth. Meanwhile, he was probably, "Sir, if you just put your headphones back on with all your N-word dropping rap music, you never would have heard this in the first place." What do you think his playlist is? How many N's are in his playlist? And the kid is actually, again, he's not a kid. He just looks like a kid, but he's 22. He's William Sharp. He's actually known to the public. He's the son of a retired news anchor in that area. And this news anchor would post videos and photos of him, so people know who he is. The condition is called Costello syndrome. It impairs physical growth, cognitive development, and yes, social understanding. So even if he came up to you and said to you personally, you have to give him a little grace if he does that. But it's like, the thing about this too is, like, sometimes people with serious disabilities, it's not extremely obvious visually. You can look at this guy.
It's quite obvious here, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, their talking point's going to be that being disabled doesn't make you racist or something stupid like that.
Yeah, well.
Remember when they said that about Kanye? Like, having mental disorders can't make you racist. And it's like, why not? How do we not? Like, I don't know. It's just, I feel like it's totally plausible in that case.
In the future, we're going to have N-word checks. Like, someone's on their deathbed and they need life-saving treatment or something. We're going to have to do a background check to see how many N's they've dropped, whether they're worthy of humane treatment or not. I don't know. Anyway, I mentioned the human swastika case in San Jose. Several students at Branham High School are now under investigation. Investigation not just by the school and the administration, but by police in San Jose, after they formed a human swastika on the football field and, yes, posted photos.
A human swastika is the center of an investigation involving San Jose high school students. As first reported by the Jewish News of Northern California, the image shows 8 students lying in the shape on Branham High School's football field. San Jose police said it occurred last Wednesday. I spoke to Tamar Maisel, a senior at Branham.
I'm still just like processing it. I'm like, these people go to our school. The one thing that I really like that the teachers are focusing on is not just about educating about why it's wrong, but also focusing on like the impact more than the intent.
On Tuesday, the superintendent of the Campbell Union High School District released a message to the community. It said in part, the swastika is an unmistakable symbol of genocide, hatred, and anti-Semitism. I want to be very clear, the district considers this an instance of hate violence. The district will respond firmly, thoughtfully, and within the full scope allowed by the board, police, and California law. On Wednesday, the district said around 200 students participated in a walkout in support of Jewish students.
Heil Hitler, baby. I don't think any of the people were white, though, so there's some conflict on the progressive stack of like where was the oppression.
Hard to tell in this image. It definitely looks like there are some members of color. Yeah.
Maybe it's the Hindu swastika, and they were just going for peace, and now their lives are ruined.
I guess the commentary in that news story, though, I'm so glad they're focusing on the impact rather than the intent. Yeah, what is the impact?
Yeah.
Like some people got butthurt? Okay, I get it. It's a stupid high school prank thing. Yeah, I understand why the school administration would want to discipline these kids.
You have to, just for optics, if nothing else.
I get it, but who? Show me the person who felt actually in fear. Now, supposedly the post of the human swastika included a Hitler quote on Instagram. Can we see the Hitler quote? No, trust me, bro. I clicked through all the reporting. There was a Hitler quote about annihilating the Jews.
Maybe it was like a really progressive, nice Hitler quote, so they thought it would make him look good if they quoted.
They won't show me the Hitler quote. I haven't been able to find it. But the statement there too, not just, I'm glad that we're looking at the impact rather than the intent, even though the intent is clearly high school shenanigans, tomfoolery, hijinks, edgelordism. You're right. But we are investigating this as an episode of hate violence. That's what the school administration said. Hate violence. Where was the violence? Who was violently affected? Again, I understand from a school discipline perspective why you have to handle this. But the use of the word violence I find to be completely insane. Even if someone...
no violence, literally.
The best I could say is that someone interpreted this as a threat. And I understand why people might find it distasteful, of course. I'm not saying it's like, I get it. I get you guys get detention. All right. You can't do human swastikas at the 50-yard line on the football field. You guys get detention. But who the hate violence? Okay.
It's funny too, because Hitler himself would be offended that non-white people are taking to his ideology.
And I got a kick out of this headline in NBC. This is national news, by the way. It's not just like local San Jose news. National news, headline NBC, California high schoolers who formed human swastika will face justice, principal said. And it's going to be an investigation not just by the school. It is now a matter of investigation by the San Jose Police Department, looking into it, yes, as a potential hate crime.
You cannot be serious!
I don't know what the criminal angle would possibly be here. For this to be interpreted even as a threat, you'd have to be more specific than that. Who was threatened?
What was the action that was threatened? The whole walkout, like, is there anything kids won't walk out over? At my high school, there was on the last day of school for the seniors, they were giving out free bagels, and they didn't have enough bagels, so some kids staged to walk out and protest. Like, they called it we call it the bagel rebellion. But on my point,
were they successful? Did they get some?
No, they were all threatened. Like, they couldn't walk at graduation if they didn't come back. So it was a district victory.
Put an end to that.
But
justice was brought to them.
Literally anything is good enough for a walkout. So, no.
You know what else is a matter of national news? Though at least this was an event in the National Football League. But did you see what Atlanta Falcons running back Bijan Robinson said after the Thursday night football game?
No, what did he say?
Well, after the game, this is on Amazon Prime, and then the players who are part of the victorious team, in this case, the Atlanta Falcons over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bijan Robinson, Kirk Cousins, whoever their tight end guy is, I forget his name. They all were on the set talking about their victory in the game. And running back Bijan Robinson, they were talking about his performance, and he said one play on which he scored a touchdown, or one noteworthy play in the game, was a lot like a game that he played as a kid. You maybe have played the game Smear the Queer.
Bijan, they threw it to you in the backfield. You made the first one miss, dead leg 3 people. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this boy threw up in the backyard. Hey, I did. Smear the Queer. That's what we do. Kill the carrier.
Kirk, what is it about you?
Oh, kill the carrier. It's called Kill the Carrier, says Ryan Fitzpatrick, because killing is more acceptable than defaming homosexuals in the current climate. Oh, so after intense pressure from absolutely nobody except actual faggots, Bijan Robinson has now apologized. He tweeted Thursday night, "I want to apologize for the insensitive comment I made on the broadcast. It was a football game we used to play as a kid." So the idea of the game is it's not football, but one person has the ball and everyone tries to tackle him. That's Smear the Queer, or Kill the Carrier, if you want to be politically correct. Anyway, we used to play this game as a kid, but that's not an excuse. I recognize the mistake and make sure to do better in the future. It was not reflective of my beliefs, and I'm sorry to those I offended. Seriously.
Boo. Well, it goes beyond that. Years ago, there was a rapper named DaBaby who made a homophobic, I guess what people claimed was homophobic comment, and a bunch of his tour venues got canceled. But years before that, he shot a man to death, and that had no impact on his career. So you literally can't.
Wait, was it a mentally challenged guy who said the N-word? Because that's completely understandable.
I don't think it was, but it would be understandable. But no, you literally can kill people and get away with it, but the gay slur is the dividing line. So even with the games of the queer smear versus kill whatever, it holds true.
If he had tweeted out, it is called Smear the Queer, and if you can't handle that, you are a faggot.
Bingo.
He would have had a lot more respect.
Yeah.
So instead, Bijan Robinson chose to be a queer who is in need of smearing, but I don't want to have to be the one to tackle him. He looks like a queer who's hard to smear. So, but someone has to smear that queer for what he did here. Anyway, all right, that's all I got. Unless you have more Smear the Queer commentary.
No, that's all I got. I guess it's chat time.
Yeah, we'll get into Super Chat. We'll call it a night.
Oh, I don't know if you saw, there was a story that I think Rob Reiner might be dead. There was 2 people found dead in his house. I guess the ages match him and his wife. So I'm not sure if there's any fury.
Both together? I mean, that implies
so.
Killing rather
play.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well that's news. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. I did get a text from producer Tim. The Bondi shooter father has been named as Muhammad al-Muhammad bin Rashid. No, it's Sajid Akram. And there's an update too in the it's not an update. It's the charges for that driver, the guy who pistol whipped the illegals.
Oh yeah.
The charges are assault, kidnapping, ethnic intimidation, and intention to terrorize others with a gun.
Yeah.
So you get smacked by illegal immigrants, you're a little rough in your response, and they're going to treat you as a terrorist. Okay. And a kidnapper.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the situation for that guy. Let's see. I got to refresh over on YouTube. We'll get back to that in a second. Over on Rumble, yes, Matt, butt strokes are part of the bayonet training manual. It's been around since muzzle-loaded rifles had them attached to them. Are they actually called butt strokes? That's
I'm furiously Googling.
That's a big game, man.
Butt strokes. But yeah, yes. I would assume
they actually are.
Okay, so they are called butt strokes. I would assume that's part of the training. It makes sense. Your rifle is a melee weapon if it has to be. Newbie of Death Ninja. Never watched a YouTube morning show. Closed app, drove to work, opened phone in a business meeting, have closed YouTube app, blared. Tired of losing your boner? Commercial while the boss is saying WTF. Rumble sucks ass. So it was a Rumble ad about you were getting like some kind of a boner pill advertisement. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't get to pick the ads that Rumble runs, unfortunately. I hope your boss bought the explanation. That sounds like an unfortunate situation. Anyway, thank you, Newbie of Death. Appreciate it. We're good on Odyssey. Let's see. Over on Rumble, Injured Guardian. No Godspeed to bleed out memes for you then. What do we? In what context are we talking about the bleed out situation?
Oh, they're getting
Stabbings,
shot versus stabbed, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which would you rather?
Oh, sorry, not Godspeed. I can't read right now. It's good spot to bleed out. What are good spot to bleed out memes? Those are memes beyond my knowledge.
Like fastest or?
There are apparently memes. SnowRunner. There's some
Memes
kind
are
of
evolving at such a crazy rate nowadays.
Well, you know, I'm an old man now, and we are just we're honorary Maryland fathers who I don't have time to play video games anymore. But this is supposedly the origin of the meme. Let me put some sound on here. This is the game SnowRunner? I don't know what that is. Does he say it? Seems like a good spot to bleed out.
We got baited.
I don't know. This is relatively recent. This post is 4 days ago, so
It's a very new meme.
It's beyond my understanding, that's for sure. I don't know that one. I don't know the game. I don't know the context. Producer Tim says, thank you, by the way, Injured Guardian. Actually, I got a couple more here from Injured Guardian. Let me grab these so maybe there's more explanation. Long E. Oh, the country's pronounced Eswatini, not Eswatini. Eswatini, where Kilmar belongs, where he'll complete the
So any
circle
of our
of life.
fans from there, we're sorry.
Sorry to the Eswatinis. Tortuga, I can't give you the name offhand, but there's a man who squatted in a house with squatters and did out-squat them. So the Squatter Olympics...
I feel like I saw a news report like a decade ago where that was the premise, was he was trying to do that to... I may have subconsciously...
Someone has to have
idea from
out-squatted a squatter before. We need to look into this. You're the fact-check guy. You could find out.
My next project.
Ryan Allen, attempting to enter on a squatter and squat would get you felony breaking and entering. I guess,
no
so
good.
in the purest sense, the squatter came in, like if... Generally, squatters enter vacant properties. This was part of the Shadeja argument. She's not a squatter because she didn't enter a vacant property. She had a Airbnb agreement. All right. But if the premise for legitimate squatting under the law is entering a vacant property, then you can't out-squat the squatter if they're there because it's not vacant, I think is what he's saying.
I mean, that would maybe it's different by the state, but I that would make sense in most places. Yeah.
Injured Guardian, there are or were anti-squatter crews for hire. Well, in these jurisdictions, apparently you need a service to get these people cleared out. Yeah. Injured Guardian also says Cesar Romero is rolling in his grave. I have to plead ignorance on this one. Oh, he's an actor in movies I've never seen. Oh, he's the old Joker guy. But why? What is he rolling in his grave about? Can you help me with this movie reference?
Honestly, no.
Why would old Joker man be rolling in his grave? These are some of the... I'm really crushing it with Super Chat tonight, man. I got so many good off the cuff jokes. I get all the references. I know exactly what everyone's talking about. Thank you for supporting the show. Appreciate it. I'm sure the reference will get connected to me at some point. Injured Guardian, Sir Lancelot definitely committed love crimes. I don't know the history of Sir Lancelot either. What are the love crimes? Do you know?
No, I was just laughing at him referencing my love crime comment.
He must have something in his... Well, what did he do? Is he like... it's like Jaime and Cersei Lannister committed love crimes.
It's a very long Wikipedia page for me to get a...
Can you find out what Sir Lancelot's love crime was?
Maybe someone should give us an answer and donate $2 while telling us the fucking joke.
Yeah.
Sorry
Thank
for letting
you.
the audience down.
Thank you, Injured Guardian. Appreciate it. Jake, no, thanks for supporting the show. Injured Guardian, exile that idiotic, lying Nelson.
That's some bull.
Yeah, well, that guy, who's the bigger Nelson? The actual Nelson who says that's some bullshit that I have to work for SNAP benefits? Or the guy who thought he heard a mentally challenged guy and physically challenged say the N-word and confronted him and tried to make a viral video on it? Who is the bigger KTLA American?
He cuckolded King Arthur. That's the reference.
Oh.
So that's very, very funny. I feel dumb that we didn't, get that. But fortunately, this is near the end of the episode.
So the love crime was, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Solid reference.
Injured Guardian, is Reiner only mostly dead? That's got to be a movie reference I also don't know. What's that quote from?
We need to spend like a month just watching every movie that we've
This is like the worst super chat performance I've ever had.
You suck, I'm not doing great either.
Boo.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying. Thank you, Injured Guardian. Foo cough. Matt P was wrong. I work with people with Down syndrome, and the R word is the favorite word of many of them. Well, I'm the one who challenged him on that. That's me if I'm incorrect. Yeah,
that's
I'm
the
not,
ultimate R word pass given to us on a platter.
This is shameful.
They call everyone the R word. It's hilarious.
Perfect.
I've seen those videos circulating. There was a viral one. I should have saved it for tonight. It's like a guy clearly with Down syndrome or some other condition.
I'm thrilled to be wrong.
He said, "Please stop comparing us to Tim Walz." It's very, very insulting to our community, which was hilarious. Sense of humor, if you can have a sense of humor about your situation or condition, regardless of how serious or challenging it is, it's always appreciated.
Yeah, respect.
Injured Guardian says the squatter woman was named Shadeja Romero. That's right. But okay, so Cesar Romero, the actor, is just he's rolling in his grave because of his shared name with Shadeja. Gotcha. Thank you for clarifying. I should have connected the Romero dots. How did I not? Well, I did my best with the with all the references tonight. I think I went over 10, something like that. Let's see. We're good on Rumble. I think another chat or two just came in. Let me refresh, and then we'll call it a night. Much more timely tonight, man. I've been doing like 3-hour shows lately, so I'm glad I was able to keep this.
Someone asked this bald twit if he knows what Rosebud is a reference to.
What No, I don't know what it's a reference to. You stumped me on that one too. I don't even know what this is about.
No, it's nothing. It's not a famous movie at all. Sorry,
well, I don't know.
I'm not laughing at you.
I've never watched a movie in my life. Everyone knows that.
It's a Hitchcock. Yeah, it's all good.
Okay, so what's a Rosebud?
It's that Hitchcock movie. I'm actually ironically drawing a blank on the name, but I've seen the whole movie.
Oh, okay. So you know the movie references, but I don't. You just can't explain.
I know the movie. I forgot the name of Citizen Kane.
Oh, that's one of the worst movies ever. I've seen that piece of crap.
It sucked, yeah.
And I reviewed it. Yeah, no, there's no such thing as anyone who actually likes Citizen Kane. Yeah. It's the IPA of movies. Everybody pretends to enjoy it to appear cultured, but everybody knows it sucks bad. Yeah. And there are a bunch of Kane lickers out there who insist to me that it is in fact a fantastic piece of cinema. No, it's not. Nobody's ever sat down to enjoy.
Actually had a funny joke about it where like Peter tapes over it at the DVD store at the end. He's like, "It's a sled. It's just about a sled. That's all the movie's about."
Yeah, that's right. Forgot about that one. Esoterica Unbound has 1 or 2 here, but I think okay. Let me refresh. Why do I have 2 of 2? Was 1 of 1 earlier? Or did 1 not come through? Hold on, Mr. Esoterica Unbound. I'm going to see if I can go track this down because I don't know if both came through on my little super chat aggregator here. So I'm going to see if I can grab it in.
Oh, I don't know why I was saying Hitchcock. It was Orson Welles. It was that unmemorable. I'm messing up the names of the. So I'm sorry for laughing at you when I myself am forgetting all the key details of that shitty movie.
Here is Esoterica.
Funny that.
Yeah, I watched it once to review it, and I'll never watch it again.
Yeah.
Let's see. Esoterica Unbound has 2 here. Number 1, even though Liberty Doll is as hot as your former co-host. Your talks with her aren't as interesting. She's just so reasonable that there's no sense of danger over what she might say. Esoteric Unbound also says, men like to bag on many women for being attracted to bad boys, but sadly many of us also tend to be fascinated by that crazy-ass bitch energy. That's why we can't have nice things. Yeah, we're talking about like the Luigi syndrome here.
Yeah.
The psychology of why women are attracted to like not just bad boys but straight up criminals and want to write them letters.
Wild.
There's just women are attracted to male assertiveness, and criminality is one form of that. Of course, we shouldn't be criminal in nature. We should be assertive toward moral ends, but strong male leadership, strong male assertiveness can sway women to follow, and I think it's just a function of that. Like the Luigis of the world are viewed as strong leaders pursuant toward a cause. Now, people think that his cause is virtuous, moral, heroic because of their dislike for the American healthcare system and the perceived crimes of this CEO guy, but it's just a function of that. Like, I guess Luigi, I mean, people think he's attractive too, which is part of it. It's like the pure physical piece of it is part of it. But the psychology that we're talking about, yeah, it's just women see assertive men and they are generally attracted, even if that man's assertiveness is mistaken or toward morally corrupt ends, as I think Luigi's was clearly. But but. And he says it's the same way that many of us men are attracted to crazy ass bitch energy. I don't know. I haven't really had the attraction to crazy in my life. That's not been a thing for me, I guess. Like, I've never seen a totally psychotic chick and been like wanted more of that. But I've seen guys. It's totally true that there are a lot of guys who do sign up for that. So I don't know how to explain that from the male psychology perspective. Like, why? I get it from the female
women think they can
psychology.
like change the guy or something. It's like a project to work on. Yeah, I don't know. It's retarded, but anyway.
Okay. So Ryan Allen and thank you, Esoterica Unbound. The crazy ass bitch attraction to criminal men and vice versa is something to study psychologically too. Ryan Allen is saying, though, you're right. Breaking news: Rob Reiner and wife stabbed in home, both dead, no suspect. So that's a crazy piece of news.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll have to check back on that because I don't have any information on that, and it sounds like it's breaking right now. Yeah. So, wow. Do we know where he lived? Do you have? I got one more chat here. A couple more.
I would assume it's like an LA kind of. I'll look it up.
Okay. I can do that. See if you can. If there's just any information, quick before we sign off. And then Duvier Verdel. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. Mostly dead from The Princess Bride when treating the dread pirate Robert. I did watch that movie too, but it's been people were mad at me because I gave The Princess Bride a 3. I neither loved nor hated it. 3 out of 5, that is. But I hardly remember it because I watched it, like 3 years ago now or something?
Reiner was in L.A., which makes sense.
Okay. So, but it's confirmed he's dead. That's not...
Yeah, it says he's dead.
Okay, wow. All right. Crazy news gets crazier every day. We'll see if we can figure out what happened there in the coming days. But anyway, anything else you want to say before we're out of here, Matt?
Well, I noticed, I first saw the news when you were doing the Liberty Doll interview, and all the conservatives reacting were like, prayers for Rob Reiner, hope he was okay, hopefully it's not them. I know the whole, imagine if the parties were reverse thing is a bit overplayed, but if it's a conservative stubbing their toe, all the left-wing reporting is like, oh man, I hope they die. It's just, I don't know. I guess my point is we're better people than them.
Bingo.
All right, we'll take that as the closing message.
I feel like this was my worst super chat performance ever.
I've had many terrible super chat performances, so this definitely can't be the worst.
I was trying to make fun of you for forgetting the name of Citizen Kane, and then I forgot the name of Citizen Kane.
No, that's on brand.
And then it was Orson Welles. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's
not my best day.
That's totally fine. All right.
It fucking sucked.
Hey, it's time to go to bed. That's
All right.
I'm sure your Celsius has worn off by now. That's what that is.
Oh no, it's gonna be a long night.
All right. Well,
Anyway.
Thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks to our live chatters and super chatters for making the live show a success. If you're listening on demand later, thank you kindly as well for supporting the show. Thanks to my guest, Liberty Doll. Check out her YouTube channel. Vote for her as top influencer, best influencer in the Gundies Awards. Linked in the description. Thanks to Matt Palumbo for sitting in tonight. Highly regarded book on Alex Soros, The Air, is linked in the description. You can follow him on X as well. Thanks to producer Tim for his assistance. As always, you can find everything show related at mattchristiansenmedia.com. You want to find episodes of the show, get some merch, join my Bible study, do all sorts of stuff. mattchristiansenmedia.com or mattis.gay if you prefer brevity. It's a real website. You can look at it. Promise it's safe. It's even safe at work, to our super chat earlier from Newbie of Death. Anyway, I'm back on Sunday and Wednesday nights. Have a great night and a great week.